Hello. Welcome to our Friday morning witchy hangout. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like really excited for this one. And I've been seeing some of these comments, and Heather was like, I feel like death is a major theme today. Couldn't agree more. Okay, so we're doing a reading as we usually do, and this one is on past lives. And as I've kind of been getting into this space, I'm just asking for the past lives to come through that are most relevant to the life that you're living now. You might ask about like a specific like situation or pattern that you have, like maybe at work or like in your family or with a specific person or like a specific karma or just overall. I know we've talked about doing the past life regressions here on this channel, and it's scary. Okay, it's something that you should kind of take very seriously, but if it's something that you're drawn to doing, that might be a good, practice, or this might get you interested in that. And I just want to throw out there that, I'm very scared of being hypnotized by somebody else because I have trust issues. But I like to do the at-home one with Dr. Brian Weiss. Like, it's on YouTube. I really trust him. I like his practice. Plus, I just like being able to open my eyes, or just like, okay, because I'm not going to lie, some things I've seen there, like, it really caught me off guard. When I first did a past life regression, I really wasn't expecting it to work, to be honest with you. And then when I started seeing things and like experiencing sensations, and I could feel how like it resonated with me. I was like, I know for a fact, like, I saw that, I lived that. That explains why I'm so jittery now, or that explains why I don't trust this type of person now, or like, it's crazy and it's wild. And I'll just throw this out there as well. Like, that's kind of a theme of Dr. Brian Weiss's work. And he was like a reluctant skeptic. Hey, Heather, thank you so much for the super chat, starting early. So that's a big theme of his work. Dr. Brian Weiss, if you don't know, he was a highly respected psychologist, is still as well. Like, he had celebrity clients and stuff like that. This is a man who is very good at his work, very good at his craft. So he got this one particular patient and couldn't for the life of him figure out why she was so anxious, because she was just riddled with anxiety, like almost agoraphobic, it kind of sounds like, just afraid of everything, afraid of her own shadow, and couldn't really figure out what was going on. So he decided to try to use hypnosis with her, and he gave her a prompt in that session to regress back to when her symptoms started. And funny enough, she regressed back to some like Grecian structure. Like, when he was asking her to describe where she was in like ancient Greece, and she described living through a big some kind of like a flood or like tsunami or something like that, where she ended up dying in that life. And it explained why she had a fear of like chewing things wrong or choking, or I don't know, it was something like that. And so once that came up, then that fear kind of went away. So it intrigued him, and that like kind of kept him on his journey. So I'm just saying, like, it's fun and it's interesting to look into past lives, but you may realize that this is connected to something bigger than you, or it may spark like an interest, or it may unlock something for you, or it may be a place where you can find release. So I'm just throwing that out here at the beginning. So, okay, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into these past life readings. I've kind of just been channeling all morning. Like, the energy is really wanting to move through. I feel like your guides have almost been waiting for you to tap into this, or find this technology, or ask about this, or they've been giving you certain messages, planting certain messages like in your psyche or in your awareness, in order for this to kind of like come to fulfillment, so that you can kind of integrate integrate these lessons from these past lives and kind of, this is like a culmination, it almost feels like. So with that being said, we've got the 3 piles here, and you can be drawn to more than one pile because you've probably lived more than one past life, or there could be overlap between these piles. So pile number 1 is the unseen. Pile number 2 is agape. And pile number 3 is the riddle. Okay, so I'm going to hold all 3 of these up. This is pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3. Soften your gaze, relax your energy, bring it down. Allow yourself to be drawn in to whatever piles you feel drawn in to. I'm almost picturing that, you know how like your body, like they say that your body just kind of like, I don't know, floats down. Whenever you do like meditations, this is irrelevant. I don't know why I'm telling you this. Okay, so let's get into this with pile number 1. Oh, why am I laughing? It's because I'm nervous, but I'm not actually nervous. What I am is excited. Okay, so this one is like right at the surface, okay? Because like, see how this is the unseen? I feel like this one is playing out. I'm hearing like almost word for word, almost beat for beat, the way that it was playing out in a past life. The only thing that they've really curbed here is the repercussions, because y'all, somebody did die in this pile. And I'm sorry, honey, but I think it was you. You know, just take it however it resonates, because there's many people that are involved here in this situation. And there was, nobody was really seeing clearly in this situation, but they're showing me kind of like a broad, group that is involved here. So like I said, it's kind of playing out almost beat for beat, but the only thing is like the repercussions, they're similar and they have the same energy signature, but it's not as extreme. And what I mean by that is like in astrology, this is the way I think about it. In astrology, each planet rules over certain things, but they don't just rule over like one specific thing. They rule over a plethora of things, because it's about kind of getting to know that planet as if it were a personality or a person. And so it's like, that planet's energy could have played out one way, a very extreme way in a past life, and it's still the energy of that planet, but that planet's expressing in a softer way or in more indirect way in this lifetime. So that might give you a clue as to the changes or how extreme things were then and how they're kind of curbing now, and potentially how you can wrap up, resolve, or interact with those energies. So I'm picturing with this like a village square, okay? This was like definitely in some kind of ancient time period, but it was in a place that had like buildings and structures. It would have been considered like modern at the time. It was a place that had like guns, germs, and steel, basically. And they're kind of zeroing in on a feminine energy. And it's clear to me that I think this is well, I don't know who this is. And keep in mind that just because you're a female in this life doesn't mean you've been a female in all of your other lives. So this could be you, this could be somebody else. Just kind of stay open and hear the story and kind of feel it out like intuitively, if that makes sense. So they're zooming in on a feminine energy. And it's very clear to me that this is a divine feminine energy, but she doesn't think of herself that way. It's almost like she doesn't really know that. This energy very much is giving me like Belle vibes from Beauty and the Beast. Not in the way that she looks or anything like that, but in the way that she's kind of seen as a bit of like an odd duck, but she doesn't necessarily know that because she just wants to kind of like fit in. She may even be from some kind of a different place, okay? So they're zooming in like here on this feminine energy, and they're showing me like on the surface, she comes off like very Venusian. She's very beautiful. She's very well balanced. She's very friendly. She's very diplomatic. There's kind of just a grace and an elegance, almost like an approachableness to the way that she moves, the way that she talks, all of that, right? And she very much like leads here with that energy. And this is a feminine though. I'm seeing a lot of eyes on her, like just people are watching her for some reason, but it does feel like people kind of have like their own hidden agendas here, like with this feminine energy. And it comes from like a deep mystery that she holds and a deep mystery that she possesses, but she is at the same time, she is unaware of it. Like it's not conscious in her mind. She doesn't understand this about herself, but she does kind of feel like that people are potentially watching her, scrutinizing her, judging her, something here like that. She knows that she doesn't necessarily fit in. That could be, again, because like she's foreign in this place or something like that. So they're showing me like a duality here to this feminine energy. So it's like they know, the townspeople, and she knows that one part of her duality is Venus, but then they're showing me a question mark as to like what the other side of her energy is. And I feel like there's a lot of talk, or there's a lot of gossip about like what this other side is. Okay, like, who is she really? Like, what is she about? Like, but this feminine doesn't understand this, because she's like, I'm not a mystery. I'm Venus. I'm pleasant. I'm nice. Like, what are you on about? Why are you so obsessed with me? Like, why are you like, I don't get it. Like, what am I doing that's causing people this much of a kerfuffle? Like, she really does not understand. She maybe doesn't even understand that like there's so much. Like, even though she can see eyes on her, she doesn't know that psychologically, mentally, there's people who are just like really fixated on her, like really kind of chewing on her energy. So they're showing me again, like, what other planet fits there? Like, is she Venus Moon? Is she Venus Mars? Like, is that why? But I'm talking about the meanings behind that. Like, you know, is it that she's angry or aggressive, or is she after power, or is she like, what is it? What is this other energy, right? People don't know. And it's very much giving me that Princess Diana quote of like, when a female like has certain types of power, it's like, where did she get it from? Why does she have it? What's she doing with it? Where is she going with it? Where is she taking it? You know, it's like, she can't just be allowed to express that power. We have to control it. We have to control her. I have to know, you know, and it's like, who are you? Who appointed you like king or ruler over this person, like this feminine's life? So there are people who kind of covet her energy. That's what I'm getting. There's a aspect to her nature that brings out people's lower energies, and it's very much things like control and manipulation, coveting, wanting to trap, wanting to dissect, wanting to strategize around, wanting to dominate. Like, you know, it brings out, and that is in males and females, but just kind of in different ways. So she experiences weird interactions with people kind of like all the time, but she doesn't exactly know where it comes from or why. She just kind of thinks like, why is everyone strange? You know? And again, if she's from a foreign place here, then it's like, she maybe thinks like, well, this culture is very weird. You know, this country is very weird. The way that they do things here, like, I must be odd because I don't know, like, I don't think it's appropriate to ask about this or talk about that or behave in such a manner. You know, she doesn't quite necessarily understand that she sort of like sparks this in other people because she's disavowed and she's disowned this other mystery energy kind of like here within herself. And the reason that she's seeing it and experiencing these kinds of things to other people. And also I'm hearing like there's fear and insecurity that's kind of tinged within this, with all of this kind of as well. That's kind of like the fog or the smoke that's just kind of permeating the air around everything that's kind of going on, right? But the reason that this is happening to her in that particular lifetime is to wake her up. It's like because she's not letting that mystery energy, because it's shadow, right? She's trying to push it down. She's trying to say, I'm not this, I'm not that, because I'm not supposed to be this or that, okay? And spoiler alert, they're showing me that hidden energy is plutonic, which kind of makes sense because Pluto rules over the shadow. So it doesn't necessarily mean that that's like the particular planet, but I'm getting that it's the traits of Pluto. She is powerful and she is trying to give these very feminine cues of like, well, I'm not a threat, because the thing is that this feminine is very balanced. It's like she is powerful, but she would never use that. She would never misuse that power. That's why she was trusted with it, whatever this is. That's why she's trusted with it, is because she doesn't want to use it. She doesn't want power. She doesn't want domination. She doesn't want what's not meant for her. She doesn't want what other people are meant to have. She's not out here scheming around just for like selfishness. She is here just trying to be pleasant to everybody. And I think she feels that that's like her own power. Like, see, if I lead with friendliness and if I lead with love and if I lead with compassion, it should, in theory, give you permission to lead with love and joy and compassion here as well. But then she gets met with this like hard ass energy sometimes, or this cruel energy sometimes, or this passion energy sometimes. She just doesn't get it. She's like, why are you behaving in such a manner? Like, I have given you every possible signal that I'm not a threat to you and that I'm kind and then I'm open. But people who are themselves very oriented that way, they're trying to scheme around. They want power. They want things that aren't necessarily meant for them. They want whatever they can get, right? Blah, 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 blah. Like, they very consciously are embodying that plutonic energy. They're weaponizing it. They're using it for themselves. So they're projecting that out onto her, and because they see the power in her. and they don't know what she's about, and they know that she could make probably a killing if she wanted to. She could manipulate circles around anybody, and she could have the highest king in the land with all of the resources and cows and whatever kind of shit, but she just doesn't want that. But they're projecting that onto her. They're that's their own way of disowning their own lower impulses and their own lower natures. So I'm getting that this feminine energy has been scapegoated quite a bit in this lifetime, and she's been blamed. This is very much kill the witch kind of an energy, and that's dog whistling, right? Kill the witch. We all know that was just like a very thin veneer for misogyny. There's some people that say that the numbers of women killed across the globe, and there are still witch hunts going on today, like what's going on in Tanzania. But like the numbers across the globe rival that of the Holocaust. It was not accounted for. It was not memorialized because it was so sporadic, and because women like exist in every nation, race, culture, creed, whatever. But it's just really, I feel threatened by that lady. Isn't she kind of weird? That's that Belle energy. It's not cute. It wasn't cute. Like back in the day, it was actually very dangerous to stick out like a sore thumb like that. Even if you stuck out as being a beauty or being nice and kind and coveted, it was very, very dangerous. And there's also, I'm hearing the word unguarded. So there's something about this feminine energy where she was in some way unguarded, but they're showing me that Pluto energy in Cancer. So there's something going on here with this feminine's family or homeland. Like I'm saying, like something could have been war torn, or there was like a plague or like Pluto death, like major death energy or something. So she potentially had to like up and leave whatever area she was from. There could have been a death of a parent in a family, and I'm kind of thinking it's the mother, and that the father kind of just didn't know what to do with this like little kid, and maybe was very like kind of cold. I'm kind of picturing in Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, Blake Lively's character, the soccer star, like her mom had died and her dad just kind of didn't know what to do with her, and she felt just like emotionally like whatever. I don't know, but there's some kind of like destruction and trauma and pain like in the family, but it's almost like the family is trying to change their stars or change their luck, or they're trying to put their best foot forward. And I'm not even necessarily getting that this family was like destitute or anything like that, or like financially well off. They could have actually had some kind of money, but it's just very much this family was trying to give the impression that all was good, all was well, whatever. But I do get a sense that this person was just kind of neglected or unguarded or not watched or not seen fully. And so it kind of left her open to these predators, in whatever way, people who were kind of taking swipes at her, trying to kind of take, things from her. And it ultimately did lead to her demise, and mistreatment. I just feel like, and she might not have realized this even like during the time of her life. Like I think she was reckoning with the fact that people were this way to her and that she couldn't account for it because she was giving so much love. And but yet still people were like, what's she doing? What's she up to? I know she's not really who she says she is. I know she's not really blah, blah, blah. But it's what that is, and what she's learning. This is the karmic lesson for everybody. That's envy. That's what envy does. And I'm seeing that meme that says envy has you out here being salty towards people that you should be learning from. And so this is a female that is the power in this situation. She is the teacher in this situation. She's the one that has she's the key is what I'm hearing. So like accepting this feminine, like whoever kind of like partners with this feminine, accepts this feminine, they find that their life just kind of naturally transforms, because beneath her Venus, she is Pluto. She is very, very observant, and she's very smart, and she can be very strategic, and she kind of just like this is kind of reminding me of like a family that is very successful, and it looks like it's the men who kind of did it, but there's a female in the back that's like crunching all the numbers and is like, do this, say this. I know I can't be the face of it, but like this female is kind of like that. Either like it's dormant and she will give this to her husband, or that's something going on within like their family dynamics. It's like everybody else would have kind of crumbled around. This feminine is like the silent power. Now enter in all of these kind of fools, all these other people that I'm kind of seeing around, okay? There's a lot of them. There's a lot of men in particular with their eye on this feminine. They kind of want to know what she's about, and they're very threatened by female power, especially back in the day, back in like ancient times when, everybody was just put in a box, and it was like, if I know this one arbitrary thing about you, like your gender or your race or your dialect or whatever, I'm going to make all of these like assumptions about what that means about you, right? Prejudice. And so I think that's kind of what they're doing, and they can sense the power in her. But she doesn't sense it in herself. So like they're not seeing eye to eye, because they're taking these steps, or they're trying to come off suave. They're trying to control her in some way because they want to find out like what this is. And I'm just picturing like a football on the field, and everybody's trying to like get the football, They're treating her like an object, to be honest with you. She treats everybody with such kindness and grace, and everybody else just treats her like an object. And I just heard limerent object. So there could actually be quite a few people who have like a limerent fixation like here on this feminine, but it causes them to treat her badly. It causes them to treat her like less than human, and that there's just like a lot of competition. Well, there is like I'm gonna say divine masculine because it's like it's a counterpart energy. These two are kind of like destined. It's a soulmate energy, but at the same time, he's kind of like a scruffy like ruffian, but just on the outside. I actually feel like he's a bit of a diamond in the rough, and he actually I think comes across like much more Pluto, where Pluto is like a lot of it's driven by fear and insecurity, and so I feel like maybe he's got like, I don't know, he's got like a chip on his shoulder. He's got like something to prove here, but he sees her and he kind of knows exactly who she is. And it causes him to feel not good enough. It's not necessarily that he wants to like knock her or that he's like, where is that coming from? Like, because he has Pluto himself and it's like more dominant for him, he sees it, he recognizes it. There's a kinship, there's an understanding, a silent understanding between these two. And it doesn't kind of have like those same things, but he still is insecure, potentially like about his position in life. And I can see here that whatever relationship that he is going to choose, because that's potentially, I'm hearing change his stars. He wants to change his stars, right? But this kind of, we get this a lot in the current readings where it's like the builder and the saboteur. How is he going to go about changing his stars? It starts with his energy first. Who is he? Is he the builder or is he the saboteur? These are outlooks on life, right? The builder is, it might take me a little bit longer if I'm going to do it slow and if I'm going to do it the right way, but it's going to be very grounded. It's going to be very secure. It's going to be very integrated in myself. Or the saboteur, it's that Scorpio energy, partnering with other people who potentially have money. It's other people's money, power, and status. And back in the day, I'm hearing that could have happened here through marriage. So it's either that he's going to choose potentially to align himself with a family like through marriage, where there's no like actual chemistry or anything, but it's going to change his stars. And then when people look at him, I'm kind of seeing that Plutonic energy like in the first house. So he could have Pluto in the first house. He could have Scorpio ruling the first house, something here like that, but there's that Plutonic energy out front. So either when people see him in his manhood, like in the life that he's going to build for himself, they're going to see somebody who is strategic, like obviously strategic. That's what they're going to see. That person has power. They've transformed their stars. They're strategic because they've partnered with other people's money. That's how it's going to come across. Or what they're going to see is that the personal power of himself, of the builder. They're going to have seen that like kind of transformation. They're going to also see a very genuinely passionate sexual connection between himself and his wife, like his actual, like this divine feminine, this soulmate partner. Because back in the day, marriage didn't used to be about passion, love, and connection. So I'm hearing even that was like why people were gossiping and whispering about these two is because it was just palpable. And that is true even in this lifetime, I think, between the two of you. The connection, the chemistry, the alignment, the fact that you go together. I'm hearing Bus It Baby by Plies. It's an old song. I used to love that song. She got me speeding in the fast lane, pedal to the flow, man, trying to get back to her love, right? And there's a part in that song where it's like, if you would have told me it was this good, I'd have never guessed. And I think that it's because she's so sweet, but again, she's Pluto beneath it, so it's saucy, okay? It is spicy. This is a very passionate, like very saucy kind of person. First of all, this feminine energy in the bedroom, she know what she doing. But together, it's like very obvious, and so that's going to be seen here by people. And I feel like that even upends like the social order of like, no, those two chose each other out of passion, out of love. This was revolutionary back in the day, so it's kind of just like, again, threatening to that. And I think certain people don't understand that it's a chemistry, it's an alchemy like here between these two. It doesn't exist in just one of these people or just another of these people. So I think it kind of puts a target on both of these people's backs, because other people want to kind of be, they want that for themselves, or they want to be seen that way, because there is a power to it. And again, fear and insecurity is what's underlying every single person involved in this like story, this trajectory. Every single person. The thing is fear and insecurity. It's just what about. So for this like divine feminine energy, she's afraid of owning her personal power, because she has probably been told by, whatever church is in that region and her family that, she has to be Susie Cream Cheese. And if she's not going to be loved. She's not going to be married. She's not going to have a family, which is essentially being ostracized and dying back in like those times. Like that's how they kept women under control, right? And it's not like you were just allowed to like, I don't know, like live on your own, or like have some friends that you like lived together with and had like cats, and people would just leave you alone. I don't know. Like, you see what I'm saying? So that's where maybe she was doing things that she wasn't supposed to do, but that's her fear and insecurity that she needs to address. And in doing so, she's going to attach herself to her Pluto. Remember I said she's very observant? Well, that's why she keeps getting confused, is because she's denying her personal power. So when these people kind of treat her bad, it's because she's trying to be Susie Cream Cheese, when in reality, she kind of knows this she was taught to be Susie Cream Cheese, so she severed herself from that plutonic power. But when she gets it online and she's like, you know what, I'm powerful. People are gonna have to get over it. And she realizes that that's her own answer. She's gonna start to actually be very observant, and that's where she can't overlook the red flags. And that's where she's gonna be like, oh, this is envy. Because I also feel like this is a woman who has like friends that are trying to sabotage her, maybe trying to get with like this man over here that she's supposed to be with. They're trying to mimic her energy. They're trying, their version of that Venus is like, I pretend to be Venus, but I'm not actually really it at all. Like I just pretend that to your face in order to strategize and get whatever it is that I want. And I do feel like there's this other feminine energy here that I've kind of yet to talk about. But let's talk about, this masculine energy, his fear and insecurity has to do with his situation in life, his manhood, really, and what that means for his manhood, because he was not born into like a wealthy family or something like that. He has to kind of like build it himself, and he has to understand that if he goes down the saboteur route, part of why it's the saboteur route, aligning himself with other, like with somebody else that's like the power or the money or the backing, is that he'll never know his own true power, because he will attribute his success to other people. Oh, well, because I got that funding, his relationships and his partnerships with other people, instead of his own gifts, talents, tenacity, skills, which nobody can ever take away from him. So that kind of gives him a personal power. It makes him a force to be reckoned with if he isn't reliant on anybody else. If he builds his own fortune, he doesn't have to suck up to anybody, or he doesn't have any favors he has to pay back. I'm hearing, I've got no strings to hold me down. But that's also Pinocchio, right? And like Pinocchio with the lying in the nose. So I feel like he has to not lie. And I'm kind of picturing Aladdin, where the genie is telling him, he's like, tell her the truth. So I feel like he's not telling this feminine energy something because he sees this very plainly. I just heard he's an extreme pragmatist. So he just sees very clearly the competition around this feminine energy for what it is. He knows that it's like very cutthroat, but he misunderstands her heart. He doesn't understand that she just wants her person, and she's not out here trying to scheme around. So he's just trying to make himself the strategic option here. Tanking it's the saboteur, right? Tanking his prospects with her in the process. So he has to get himself in alignment, deal with his insecurity very directly. I just heard, be a man, own up to it, be courageous, and just put yourself out there exactly how it is that you are, right? And then all these other kind of like men who are looking at this, they have an insecurity around, basically they want something that's not theirs. So the insecurity is right in this instance. It's like true. But they have to figure out why they want that, because they don't actually feel, it's just, there's something about this feminine energy that is different or interesting or unique, or it comes with some kind of power because she's attractive or she's pleasant or something. It comes with its own bump in status to have somebody like that. And that's the only reason why they like her, is that plutonic energy. It's not the only reason. Like, again, she's very like pleasant, and easygoing, like something like that. But it's not like it's like, oh my gosh, we're like kindred and I want you to have what you want and I want to make sure that I have what I want. It's not the love energy. It's not selfless. It's not, I have needs, you have needs, and let's talk about it. They just want to own her kind of like an object. Now there's this feminine energy over here as well that feels that way towards this masculine energy. But I'm hearing with this masculine energy, it's the feminine guile that always trips him up. He thinks of himself as a protector. He thinks that, I'll punch anybody in the face, and maybe he will. But he doesn't understand that scorpionic energy, because Scorpio is feminine kind of power. It's guile, it's strategy, it's lying in wait, it's psychological manipulations, right? And so that's what this feminine energy is doing. They may have a secret like sexual relationship, or that's something that she wants. So she I'm seeing the destroyer energy. This is like hearkening back to the secrets and lies reading that I put out, the pile number 1, where that was one of the secrets, where somebody here like put a pebble in the works in order to kind of throw everything off. I feel like that's what this feminine energy did between this masculine and feminine energy. And I'm kind of getting, it was feminine weaponry. Okay. It was toxic femininity, whatever was going on here. So I'm hearing like, like gossip, but it was a straight up lie, like whatever it was. And then he kind of thinks to himself, but like, why would she lie? Because he doesn't understand it's envy. It's the dark emotions that this divine feminine is kind of like meant to spark in these other people so that they can see it, heal it within themselves. But instead they're perverted in their energy and they're like lashing out, right? So she could have told a lie on this divine feminine here, that caused her death. That's kind of what I'm getting. I think it terminated a relationship, but I think it caused her death. So it was like vile, I just heard, demeaning, smear campaign. She basically didn't like that this feminine was seen. She was jealous. Like, she didn't like that this feminine was seen in this like Venusian energy all around. So she wanted to do something Scorpio, hidden, secret. She couldn't challenge this feminine to her face because everybody would have known that it was a lie. Like saying that this feminine isn't beautiful or that she isn't kind. Like if she had approached that directly, Pluto is not direct, Scorpio is not direct, Aries is direct. That's masculine kind of aggression, right? It's very direct. So this masculine is confused because he's like, he doesn't understand that that's aggression coming from this like karmic feminine. It's aggression. It's envy. It's aggression towards his divine feminine, but also it's very selfish because she wants something superficial here from this masculine energy. I just heard she wants a free ride in some way. And it might not even be that these are the two that are getting married. Like it could be that he's going to make some kind of strategic marriage or partnership. And then this karmic feminine wants to ride on his coattails in order to, you know, get her bills paid or whatever. And she's always going to be the secret one lying in the wings. But she knows that if he gets into a love connection, well, he's not going to want to have a partner or a mistress. It's not going to be about that same thing. And, he's just not going to be interested. And also like, because whatever strategic partnership I think that he has, it's definitely not a love match. He's not going to be enjoying himself in his marital duties. Do you know what I mean? So she's like, oh, well, then you can enjoy it with me, even though there's no natural chemistry. She has to manufacture it, and she's okay manufacturing it. She doesn't care that she's living a lie, so long as she can beguile everybody, and so long as she can weave enough lies and manipulation into the situation to just basically take out. I'm just hearing, kill what you see if it frightens you. No room for love on the road to the bigger buck. Here in the land where nobody gives a f. So this is all about money. That's what I mean. It's like insecurity, financial insecurity. So this feminine could easily maybe partner with somebody of a higher status to pay her bills. I don't think she's inclined to do that. Because I remember I said she has this power within her that she has yet to kind of connect with. This masculine wants money, status, and position, very tempted to take a shortcut route, which is going to align him with all these grotesque, nasty people. And I think that's what happened here in the past. And the very fact that he's not addressing his own lower natures full on, because he can sit here and point like, well, you lied. And then that's what convinced me to end my divine feminine, or to side against her, or to doubt her, or to harm her, or to sit back while she got harmed by other people. He can point the finger all he want. Baby, he wouldn't have been involved with any one of these people, adding layers of complexity and confusion. You know, when you build a machine, it's like the more layers that you have, the more checkpoints you have, the more complex it is, the more you open it up for there to be problems, you know, in the plumbing. So if you're trying to put a pipe together, you want the least amount of twists and turns as possible, because you're just increasing the likelihood that of the breakable points where something could go wrong. That's what he's doing by involving himself in these relationships where he doesn't actually feel anything, and he's just being selfish and being strategic and trying to get his needs met in a no strings attached way so that he can enact his big grand plan. All of that is saboteur energy, and he is the saboteur. He has to come to terms with his own inner saboteur that is wrapped up in fear and insecurity. And that is his engine. That is what's driving him. He needs to switch over and see himself as the builder and know that he can do it. And that just because he's not an overnight success doesn't mean that he's not a success. He needs to withstand being looked at in the street a certain way, because over time, especially if he partners with this divine feminine who is a kingmaker, he will be looked at with respect, because he is going to have some pretty like a powerhouse in his home, not just like with her observation and her strategy and her good karmas, I'm hearing as well. But also, like, he has a pleasant home environment, because it's something about that is going to change his family situation as well. Obviously, they create their own home together, but it's like they're going to change some kind of like major dynamics there. But there's also like a lot of love and genuineness and passion between the two of them. This is very much a united pair. It's a united front. And I'm also going back to that Busset baby with Plies, where he's like, everybody knows that's mine. Like, that's what I feel like between the two of them. It's like, everybody knows that's mine. Like, everybody knows that these two belong together. They refuse to just sit back in their energy and be happy for these two people. Instead, like, that's what this divine feminine would do. Is like, I don't want anything that's not for me. And she's not owning her power. She's not being strategic. But because she's the one with all the beauty and the power and the this and the that, everybody is just on her junk all the time. Like, blaming her, scapegoating her, disowning their own nasty Pluto energy on her, because she's not owning her own Pluto energy. So it's vital for her to own her own Pluto energy. It's vital for her to connect with her own power and just be like, nope, 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 nope. And if he can't go on the journey with her because he can't get himself together, she needs to be the power in this situation, and she needs to up and leave and just go transform her own life. That's what needs to go on here. And like I said, there are remnants of this that are happening now. I think it's happening now, but it's like hard to see that that's the dynamics of what's going on. Potentially it's hard to see who is who and what is what, because there's lies and there's gossip and there's deception, and it's making things blurry. But the reason that there's lies, or maybe it's not even necessarily lies, it's just that because people cannot own their own BS and nonsense, they're projecting it out onto potentially this feminine. I think if this feminine has been really maligned in a group, I think good and well that she doesn't deserve it. And everybody owes her an apology, I feel like, from that lifetime at the very least. Some of them may have wrapped up their karmas towards her, but it ended up with her somehow getting ended. And I'm seeing somebody throw a body in like a water, some kind of water that was potentially around. And I've picked up on this in other readings, but I feel like because of that, because the body was thrown into lakes, I've heard that like if somebody ends your life early before the good Lord wanted to take you home, right? If they just took it upon themselves to decide when you were leaving this place and it wasn't their place to, you still kind of live out your life, but like on the other side, like you still kind of learn and practice like those lessons, but just on the other side, so that it's not like a lost opportunity. So while the body was meant to be kind of aging, it was marinating in the water element, the spiritual element, the psychic element, the spiritual element. So that could have awakened intuitive gifts in this feminine so that she could see through these people in the next lifetime to be able to connect with her own power and actually overcome it and potentially trump all of these people or have all of these people's cards, because she already is a very powerful mirror. But it's important that she knows that she's got the truth on all of these people and that everybody needs to clean up their own shit, basically. Yeah. So, and that was a gift. So when I'm hearing the word intuitive gifts, like this is kind of why it's called a gift, is because, this is what was needed actually, because she was so outnumbered. And now I'm hearing that, song Outnumbered by Dermot, Kennedy. I love that song too. On the nights you feel outnumbered, just know that I'll be out there somewhere. Like, because this feminine has been bullied or like ganged up on. I just heard gang stalked, and like really like disrespected. Like this is disrespect. And she, like I said, it comes from the fact that people don't view her as human. They view her as an object. They view her as something in relation to themselves, not something in her own right. So something to be like seen with or partnered with, or something to be aligned with in order to like change their own perception or something like that. Or somebody who's a threat, somebody who's competition. Well, that's a full person. Like you might feel threatened, but that person's existence isn't to be a threat to you. So that's why you don't get to just take somebody out. Kill what you see if it threatens you, right? No. All like over money or power or status. This is low, and these are low people. So I'm kind of getting that she was a very bright light, surrounded by bright light living in the shade. Your cold heart makes my spirit shake. I'm pretty sure that is ghost. Oh, I keep going to the river to pray. That's that river. So there could be a connection here to water or a particular river here for this like divine feminine, but I'm also seeing the masculine potentially in that lifetime was drawn to the river that she was thrown in, either because he knew she was and he was like a part of that somehow, or didn't step in or didn't intervene or was a part of doing it or orchestrating it because of the lies he was told, or just like to make amends, or just because of the connection between the two of them, he just was always drawn to the river, and he would just go like spend time by the river and think by the river and be calm by the river just to be with her. Like whether he knew it or not, like he just went to the river just to sit and be with her, and he would cry. I think that this masculine would cry a lot. There's a connection with the water because I'm seeing his tears filling up the river, and that's the river that she's kind of, and I'm just seeing her surrounded in like tears. Yeah, and I'm seeing her now like she's a statue and she's frozen and she's like crying out, but like in pain, but it felt like stopped. And then I'm seeing like a little spark from her mouth come out, and that's you. That created you. Her pain, like you are kind of, I just heard her vengeance. You are her redemption. You are her champion. She created like her own champion, somebody who could embody these things, somebody who could overpower these things. And it was you. Like she birthed you, like in that moment, that all this lifetime was kind of like tied in and woven with that, but I'm walking around the statue, it's almost like she's frozen in time, like frozen in that certain pain, and I'm like asking her, I'm like, did you cry all of these tears? And she's like, so like there was a lot of pain, or there was a lot of sadness, like from the way that she was treated and from the way that everything kind of like went down. But it's like she always had to be so strong that she like just went in her shell and she just cried, but she was surrounded like by all her tears. So again, that's something like by the water element. And for some, there was a baby involved, like she could have been preggers or like by this masculine or something like that, or it could have been a secret, or there could have been a child here, and for some it could have even been a sibling, or it could have been a sibling that passed on. That could have been the death in the family, like early on. I don't know, but I'm picturing her like with a child, whether it's like, yeah, a sibling that passed on earlier and they were close, or it could have even been a twin is what I'm hearing. But there's like a deep connection, deep bond between the two. But if it was a baby, then the baby came into her body in order to provide some kind of protection for her during this time. Like it was a higher vibrational being that came into her womb. Just there was some kind of energetic appreciation or transfer. Binding, like their energies were like woven together, like in a certain way, in order to bolster her during some kind of really intense time where there was a lot of betrayal or skullduggery or upheaval, and it gave her something to focus on. It gave her something to look forward to, and it potentially caused her to make the transformations that she needed, or again, to connect with her own power as to like, well, I have to get out of here, or I have to do what's best for me and like my child or something, if that was like kind of a part of it. So, okay. Yeah, like that's really what I'm getting, because I think that the patterns of this are still very much alive and well. And I do kind of think if this masculine gets his shiz together, they will move together away from this hornet's nest of a shit show, because he will have leveled up. And so I think she's there for him, because they are soulmates and they're like kind of bound together here in some kind of a way. But the binding agent really is love, but it's also fear and insecurity. So you have to kind of, so you can't be trying to control the other person, or like, you know, I just heard, yeah, you can't be like mind control, like playing games or trying to, you can't do that. Not with this group around. Not with this group around, because divine feminine is just going to get hammered. Like if we want to play games here, she needs a certain amount of protection, and she also needs to be escorted off the premises. I just heard. And I think that's what he will do. Like if the two of them are together, they will end up moving somewhere else, potentially to start their own business. I just heard, or their own, yeah, I just heard their own business. Like this could be a family business. They may also suffer some kind of like a miscarriage, or they did suffer that, or just death has been a bonding experience for these two. But then they will go on the path together. But if not, I really just think you got to get out of the swamp, because these people are swampy people and they have a lot of shame. And if you are around these people because they're not dealing with their shame internally, these are very low souls. And that could be that they're very young, or they just refuse to grow up. Yeah, I'm hearing that. I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. So these are just souls that like, they know what they're supposed to be doing. They have fun. They think this is fun to hurt other people. And so you're kind of there to practice your strategy skills, or again, because that's where you would do it, right? But you got to get out of that swamp, because if you don't, then you're going to feel shame for whatever messed up stuff goes on because of these people, because of their skullduggery and their down low nature. You're gonna feel the shame, both of you, because you're trying to be better. These people are just like not even trying to be better. You're gonna feel the shame. So in order to not have that happen, you need to remove yourself, and by removing yourself from that in this lifetime, it protects you in all future lifetimes, because you've gotten yourself out of there, if that makes sense. So yeah. So let me just see here. Yeah, regret, I think, is a big theme of that past lifetime. So if this plays out again in this lifetime, and this masculine doesn't get his stuff together, then I think, I'm hearing sha la 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 la, my oh my, look like the boy too shy, he gonna miss the girl, right? And it's like regret. So it's almost like she's gonna leave. It's gonna feel like a death. It's gonna feel like she died, because she died in the past life, but she is not herself going to die, because she doesn't need to die. You know what I mean? All right, anything else? Between the lines. So read between the lines. But that also, the picture on that is a road. I'm hearing like you have to get off the road to nowhere, and you have to get on the road to somewhere. I really think it's leading away from a particular location. Oh my gosh, between the lines. And I just saw the regret again. Hidden meaning, vague, speculate, implicit. That's what I'm saying. There's some kind of like, something here is like vague. Also, I feel like these two need to talk to each other. They need to they need to talk very directly. That's a part of the karmic lesson. They need to speak very clearly, very plainly about those things that I mentioned, about the fears, about the insecurity, about the transformation, about the passion, these two need to be speaking to each other. That way, little Miss Thing over here that just really wants what she wants, and to hell with everybody else, and also to hell with what God wants. She shouldn't be able to get in between these two. she shouldn't say something to this masculine that he takes as gospel without talking to his feminine. Certainly nothing that offends his own intuition and his own feeling and his own experience with her. Yeah, and I just keep hearing it. He gonna miss the girl. But then all of this is leading to a spiritual awakening. This divine feminine, again, that power energy leads to her spiritual awakening. It also is going to prove everybody wrong who tried to tell her that she's not going to be loved if she's powerful. And then this masculine energy, that's a spiritual awakening for him to realize that he is his own power. These are big spiritual lessons that these two are learning. And it would be nice. I heard it would be nice. So if these two get their shit together, that's the domino effect that's going to also induce a spiritual awakening and have a ripple effect with the rest of this group, who are going to learn that manipulating ain't it. You don't get anything real. You just get a bunch more insecurity and fear. And it was all that scheming was for nothing, you know, and they need to be butthurt. Like, they need to experience that, like, they don't get what they want when they're scheming around, that they actually have to be it, that you need to be loved, and perhaps you deserve to be loved. Because what they're trying to do to these two people, it's not love, but it's all they know is love. And they keep doing it because they keep getting away with it, because it keeps working. Okay. Toxic relationship. Yeah. Fighting, codependent, misunderstanding, and trigger. So that's what awaits this masculine if he goes down that saboteur route. But also it's like, there can't be fightings and misunderstandings because of what is unseen and what feels insecure and what is blurry. Yeah. Enlightenment, epiphany, life lessons, and rebirth. And again, finances has like a lot to do with this. Money problems, work, material things, success. I think also, yeah. So there's going to be a major karmic intervention. So if this masculine energy, potentially, this is again in the past, because this is what happened to the divine feminine in the past, right? So on this path, he's going to get his hit back. If he goes on this saboteur journey, right, he's going to experience money problems, work, material things, like success problems, and heartbreak, hurt, betrayal, grief, and disappointment. Potentially, this is a betrayal to do with finances and money. I just heard fall guy. He's some kind of fall guy. Why? Because he got involved with saboteurs, other people's money, power dynamics. Well, you just think somebody's going to give you a bunch of money and that they're not strategizing themselves. They're not strategic people. You think that you have love. I heard there's no love lost between these two people. They don't actually care about you. What they do is they sweet talk you to your face to milk you for whatever it is that they want. And they'll use whatever slimy thing they've got to do, whether it's putting somebody in front of you or whatever. That's what goes on around this masculine. So there's a big divine intervention. It's a big blow up, whatever this betrayal is. It's going to blow everything to the ground. Serendipity, catalyst, supernatural, and karma. Could come via a text message or an intuitive message. He's been seeing the signs and synchronicities. So it won't be without warning. Music, I think, is going to be leading him out of this and leading him, again, like there's some kind of relationship here where this person, again, they're a betrayer. They could have gotten him addicted to something in order to control him and to induce romantic feelings that were not actually there. Because I'm actually picturing like a DRUG culture between these two. So it's like there's no actual chemistry, but because he was like so DRUGGED up around this group of people or something, like his inhibitions were down, everything feels so like swimmy. That's not naturally occurring between any of these people. That's not actual chemistry. It's not lighting up your path. It's not, I feel this way about this person, so I feel like I should be drawn to them. That's not natural. That's all been kind of like induced here in that particular situation. So this is just about getting clear and like getting real with yourself and following your heart, basically. So that's what I have for pile number 1. Maybe I should get like one message on like how to clear this up. Look, it's the sun energy. So it is like, again, I see this as the builder energy, whereas like Pluto is the betrayer. It's a saboteur. Pluto can be like the Judas energy of like, you will betray me 3 times before the rooster crows. So like, again, the feminine, we've already seen that in her journey where she's got to see that. She can't be surprised. She can't ignore the red flags. She's too powerful. She's too observant. She needs to get that online within herself, right? Judas, you will betray me 3 times before the rooster crows. If this masculine is not owning up to himself, that's going to be him. He's going to be Judas. He's going to be her betrayer, her saboteur. He'll betray her 3 times before the rooster crows because he's doing something in secret. He's planning, which is the energy vibration that attaches him with the karmics. He needs to step into his own sun energy, his own personal power, he needs to live his own personal philosophy, because he has a personal philosophy that he just is a hypocrite about. And in a way that it just doesn't bother him that he's a hypocrite about it. He doesn't take it in his own energy to remedy that. So, and this has to do with like then his career, potentially like his father as well. I think it's going to surprise him that like if he kind of goes along his way that he's going to get some kind of a major big break. And he needs to choose the family that resonates like with his heart. He also potentially needs to see his family clearly, and he needs to see a mother energy clearly. Yeah, because some kind of mother energy, there could be a stepfather here as well. That has blocked a clear relationship with the mother and actually has placed themselves into competition between this masculine energy and a mother. Either that's the past life or this current life. And it also is the cause of addiction problems. That's what's causing the addiction problems. Yeah, there was a competition for the mother. And it wasn't with his actual father. It feels like with a stepdad. This is so specific. And that's what's led to maybe like drinking and having certain liaisons with people as a means of competition. It's like numbing out. It's like it's kind of a promiscuous nature, to be honest with you. It's a numbing out. And this is also like work and like mixing work and pleasure in a way that is unintelligent. You ever heard not to dip your pen in company ink? Should be this man's ethos, tried and true. Do not dip your pen in company ink. So yeah, it's the cause of all his problems is this stepdad figure. And I think the stepdad had money, and mom likes money and likes luxury and likes being seen, I just heard, and being seen as like elegant or something here like that. And all of that took precedent over him. So I just heard that's when I learned that women liked money. They wouldn't like me, they would like money. That's when I learned that women liked money. And I'm hearing, I think it's a good Charlotte song. It's like, girls don't like boys, girls like cars and money. So he's going to get himself involved with somebody like that to kind of like, again, to unearth his own traumas. That's the betrayal energy. Because also this person's going to cheat on him, and anybody who can give them more, they're going to go with that person as well. So, and I think he may have a fantasy of becoming that stepdad, of becoming. So this is a masculine who may try, like his karmic may already be married, and he wants to trump that energy and become that stepdad and become the most, that's how he's going to get his needs met, is what he thinks. That's how he's going to become the most important person in the house. Not realizing that that stepdad was deeply diseased and disordered and needed to, probably has, like, who competes with a child, right? Like, it's gross. It's gross. That's crazy. That was very specific. So he needs to see that very clearly. Because also repeating that traumatic pattern, that ain't it. For anybody, that ain't it. Okay, so let's just leave that in the past where it belongs. I'm kidding. It's been dredged up. And I actually think in pile number 1, I'm just going to go back to that really quick. I actually think in pile number 1, that karma's coming due, where everybody is going to start to see clearly, because somebody here, I think it's you. And I think you're the divine feminine, like at least in this lifetime, you're the divine feminine, and you probably were in the past too. I think you're starting to see this clearly. So I think you are now owning your personal power more and more. And as that's happening, it is Pluto, right? It's transforming things. It's transforming the dynamics where these people can no longer lie to themselves about who and what it is that they are, and their own psychological crap that they just like vomited all over you. Every single person here needs to own up to their own like fuckery and their own strategizing and whatever. Okay, let's move on to pile number 2. All right. Okay, so hold on. I was trying to understand one of these comments. So Nico just said, I don't know. I've been processing this for a while, but can we get messages at some point in the future about where to go from here? Like what new situations are to be found? You have the wrong perspective on this. You need to switch that perspective. You need to own your personal power. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is kind of capping this off. So see how this comes up in sneaky ways, okay? You need to own your personal power. What do you mean? Where do you go from here? You're acting like you're at the whim of life and that you are not an agent in your own right. And then, you're kind of, I'm not saying this, but like you're going to other people, whether it's like me, a tarot reader, or like maybe this is like a therapist or somebody that you see as like a leader, and you're like, just tell me what to do. That's the wrong perspective to have in your own life. You need to be firmly in the driver's seat. Life is not about like, we talk about being on the right path, right? Which sounds like, oh, I just show up and I just kind of like get swept away. And there is a certain amount of like moving with the Tao, but that's just connecting with your heart energy. You're still the enactor of your own life. You're still manifesting your own life. You can do whatever it is that you want to do here. It's just that we get our karmas when when what we want to do here comes from unhealed wounds, or it comes from a selfish place, or when there's something here that's not reflecting like the wholeness and the truth and the glory of God. And that's how we learn about God, and that's how we learn about ourselves. I really think that we're here like just doing shadow work for God, right? Because God is just whole, but when God is here, everything's like blown out and very fragmented. So you being curious and like scurrying around like a blind mouse, like kind of trying to find things. I know that we're uncomfortable with that because we're like, I feel like God just wants me to be functional, like to just know exactly what this is that I'm doing and to like be on the right path. And he does, he, she, whatever source does, but not at the expense of the process. So many times we want to take ourselves out of the process and just like skip to the end, but the end and the means are one. And so only you really have the answer to that question. And I'd be really, really careful just giving up your agency like that. And I know that that's probably not the way that you're looking at it, but it's the way that you need to be looking at it, of like, and this is a good lesson I'm hearing too. It's like whenever you're confused about something, there's a line in A Course in Miracles that says, I'm never upset for the reason I think. Okay. So you feel like you're frustrated because it's like, well, I've been processing this for a while. Like I'm upset because I don't know where to go from here. You're never upset for the reason you think. You're confused because you're not like online. Because when you're online, that's the feeling that you actually want. Feeling confident, feeling sure in yourself. Well, that means like, maybe spend some time reconnecting with yourself, like building that self-awareness, building that relationship with yourself. Ask yourself, like, what is it that we want to do now? Like, if the world was our oyster, like those kinds of things. And then set long-term goals and then break it down into shorter-term goals. But get excited about the process. Build yourself an adventure and put yourself firmly in the driver's seat. That's where you need to go from here. And when you're asking that question, you're looking out into the world. Tell me where to go from here. Tell me where to go from here. Where you need to go from here is inside. It's internal. You need to spend some time in hermit mode. And yes, like, oh, I've been processing this situation. But your focus has been on this external situation, but you've kept yourself separate from it. Okay, I've processed this. I know like kind of everything is. Like this is the integration piece of like, okay, now how do I reintegrate what I've learned? And how does that change me? Because if you don't feel changed, if you don't have a different perspective, and that's how you know. I get this all the time where it's like, I think I'm healed. Adi Shanti talks a lot about this. I think I'm healed. I think I'm enlightened. So where do I go from here? You're not healed. You're not enlightened because that question came out of you. Somebody who is truly healed and integrated, that question wouldn't exist. And I'm not trying to make you wrong for having that question. I'm just pointing out that this answer is right in front of you. It's just, you have to retrain your mind how to look at it and how to look at yourself. So like, it's a different perspective. So you're still in that, you might be at a different place, but you're still in that kind of same mindset. And you're right there at the tail end of it where it's like, okay, but it's popping you up into like a completely different understanding of life, which is sitting in your energy different. It's asking different questions. It's pulling back and it's like looking at that question like entirely different. It's like, okay, what do I want to do now? Right? What do I want to do now? What is it that I feel like is missing from my life? What values do I currently have? Am I currently living those values? Because a lot of times when we're not living our values, that's when we feel kind of like a hole or empty, But that's like ultimately what the sages have kind of been trying to tell us is like, you could sit completely undistracted in a cave and not feel that. Okay, well, where should I go from here? That's wholeness. That's completeness. They're on their journey, but they know themselves to be whole. Nothing's missing, right? And that's the feeling that we're ultimately wanting to have. But choosing the path in front of you is how you you choose almost like the lessons that you're learning and how you learn them. That's how it kind of matches up with you. It's all like happening. It's all very kinetic, right? It's not just something that's like just you're just swept away by life. There's a certain flow when you get into the flow state. That's what we're kind of talking about. But that's one of the limitations of language, where it's like, well, I just want to be on my path. Well, put yourself there. Connect. The path is within. The path is a straight and narrow. You're either on it or you're not on it, because you're either fully connected and integrated with yourself or you're not. And if you're not, it's not a punishment, but lessons will come up to kind of reflect that back at you. It's data, so you can kind of like change. It's a dance here. It's just a dance here, and it's learning how to do that dance. And that's more like what to think about it. It's not, did I take this step completely perfectly? It's like when you're dancing, you're just having fun and you're feeling it, and it's not like nitpicky, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Does the situation align with your values and your self-reflection? I hope that was helpful. We've got a lot of comments here, so I don't know if that answered your question, Nico. Thanks, Jess. I appreciate it. Okay. I hope it made sense. And that was a very good question, and I felt like that was so connected with the karmas that like came through that first pile. So maybe a lot of people are like kind of feeling the same way. Life is a dance, you learn as you go. Or as Pink said, God is the DJ, life is a dance floor, you are the rhythm. Or love is a rhythm, you are the music. Okay, so Alex, I'm really sorry about this pile number 2 marker. I've like messed it up 3 times. It keeps going back and forth between 1 and 2, just so you know.
It's okay. Whenever you get really off base, I can use bookmarks on the back end to.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Okay, let me just refresh my lip gloss. Gotta look cute for pile number 2. Okay. Pile number 2. Ooh. Okay, this is a much different energy. I'm picturing water. I'm hearing like waves kind of washing up on the shore, but then oh my gosh, it's like forlorn though. Okay, so I'm hearing that Destiny's Child song is like, it's just emotions taking me over, caught up in sorrow, lost in the song. But if you don't come back, come home to me, darling. Don't you know there's nobody left in this world to hold me tight? There's nobody left in this world to kiss goodnight. That song's called Emotion by Destiny's Child. Whoa. Okay, so there's like a lot of emotion, and the emotion here in this lifetime that you felt for another person, and the emotion feels forlorn. It feels like a love lost. Somebody here could be a sailor, like your love interest could have been a sailor, could have been lost at sea, could have like gone away on some kind of voyage or something. There was a loss, like there was a love lost here between the two of you, and it really affected you. This was a true love, like you love this person and they were gone. It was like they were gone and you lost this person, and it was like very forlorn. But that was an opening. It was some kind of like an opening to spirituality. I'm strongly getting that. And helping you to transcend some kind of earthly nature or like earthly circumstance. The ties that bind. It actually provided you a way out from certain ties that bind. And I don't think you were able to understand this in this previous lifetime, because it's like you had these karmic ties that were like binding you from, I don't know, it's like family or something like that. But I'm seeing you very far away from like this family member or like these, whatever was going on, but they still had like their karmic ties around you, but you were stretching it like a rubber band. And it's like you could never like get beyond that. But then you had this love, like you met this love, and I just heard he was your sanctuary. He was your temple. He was your like chapel. It's like he was like your access point to God. And this person kind of like, again, okay, this is weird, escorted you away from that family, right? Which is maybe, yeah, or away from that like homeland. But then like you lost that person, and it snapped, like for some reason, like on the spiritual back end of things, it snapped like those karmic ties that you were holding, because then you walked through the door, and I think that you joined some kind of like spirituality. You found some kind of spirituality. But I kind of think this was a monastic path here for a lot of you. Like you devout. Like I'm just hearing devout. You were devout. You devoted yourself to God, like to spirit, to the Lord, like whatever it was, Allah, Krishna, like Buddha or whatever. And you spent your days like in meditation. You spent your days in solitude, solace. You spent a lot of time alone in this lifetime. And I feel like you were near a beach, or there was like rocks, there was sand. You would walk the beach. Oh my gosh. Okay. The Beaches of Cheyenne with Garth Brooks. Didn't somebody just put another Garth Brooks song in here? Oh my gosh. 'Cause tonight she walks the beaches of Cheyenne. Oh my gosh, the songs in this one, they're like really emotional songs. Yeah. Oh my gosh, the Beaches of Cheyenne. You should totally listen to that from Garth Brooks. So it's like you would just like walk up and down this beach and you would connect with your love and you would process this. But I think you joined a monkhood or like an order or something like that. And you devoted your life to spirituality. Now there's something else here, like, because I think you spent a long time alone and a lot of time in reflection and you were healing your own heart. And during that process, that was like the opening where you were cutting the ties that bind from whatever like previous family situation. And so it was ending a major karmic cycle for you. And this is like lifetimes before. And I'm picturing you submerged underwater, but it is the sea that I'm seeing you. So salt water may be very healing for you. Oh my God. Like, I feel like if you submerge yourself in salt water, you may have some kind of, I think you're going to have, if you haven't already, there could be some type of baptismal experience in salt water. Like, I'm just picturing a huge wave just like crashing over you and you're like, but it was like, God was like, baptized. It's meant to like wake you up like to that moment where you kind of like got consecrated, and salt is like very protective and it's very purifying. You may have a very strong connection here to the sea. And the sea is very healing and protective and purifying and clarifying for you. Like I'm just picturing like keep like a little bundle of salt water. Like if you can evaporate like the salt or like however people do, wear it around your neck, keep it by your bedside, something here like that. And just the sea sounds, like I just keep hearing that. But after you went through that time of like consecration, purification, and where you basically like kind of baptized yourself and you got born again, that's what I'm getting. It was a new life. It was like a rebirth, whatever happened here. You were renewed with some kind of mission and some kind of purpose. And this has to do with the mouth. It has to do with the throat chakra and being brave enough to speak the truth into the world, to light a candle for other people. But I feel like you were challenging powers that be. And it doesn't necessarily feel in the monastery that you were at, like potentially there were authority figures that it doesn't necessarily feel that way, but it's also not there. Like you had a very pure soul. You really did connect with God. This is like Teresa of Avila shit, where she was like writing love letters to God, you know, like squirreled away, like in her little room. Like not every nun was like on that level having like mystical experiences. This was very mystical for you. It was very real. And you were renewed with some kind of like promise or some kind of hope or some kind of mission. It aligned you with some kind of mission. And part of it was speaking truth to power, but you had to be really brave to do this. And I think that's what they're showing, like cutting the ties that bind, of like nothing held you back anymore. Like you had nothing else to lose. And so because of that, you were the hope of the world. I'm hearing that you were the hope of the world. You were the hope of like your little village or something here like that. And it almost has a Sodom and Gomorrah feel, where it's like when you send in, like when God sent in the angels, and it's like, how is this angel received? How are they talked to? How are they treated? Because the karmas, the lessons that are going to unfold there is going to depend on that, because it's like kind of taking the temperature. It's not necessarily to punish, but I mean, if you've got to learn so many lessons to such a degree, like you do kind of have to burn everything down. Oh, and then that's that pillar of salt. There's something here with salt here in this group. Salt of the earth, or like the taste of salt. That could have been like a very clarifying experience. Like even with your lover, it's like the taste of the sweat and the sea, the mixture of the sweat and the sea, and like the smell of it, something like that, like really, I don't know, just like nurtured you. And then the salt water, and then like there's something here with like salt water. So there's something here about understanding language in order to, and getting around barriers and getting through obstacles in order to get the truth out there and to keep the energy of truth kind of going. It's like you were the everlasting candle. Oh, it's Bridget energy. So there could be something here around like May 1st that you are connected with, or like, I just heard Ramaspringa, but you know, just like the springtime energy. But again, Bridget is like the flame that never goes out. And this, the love that you have here for like your person, you didn't want anybody else after this. Like you just knew there was nobody else who could like take up residence in your heart. You just knew it was kind of like a fool's errand. So you let go of all of it. You washed your hands of it. You got consecrated in the water and you allowed yourself to be used as a vessel for God. But you had to do your own healing first. And then that's how you got baptized into becoming a healer for the masses, is what I'm hearing. And then like they're showing me like the miracle of fishes and loaves. And I'm hearing teach a man to fish and he eats for a day. Or no, catch a man to fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime. So I think there was a lot of charlatans or people that were out there and they were trying to give people fishes in order to receive praise for it. But you were trying to teach people how to fish, like in regards of spirituality. Here's how you look at yourself. Here's how you uproot this from the base so that you're not reliant on somebody else to have to do this for you. Here's how you do it. Look at this, look at that. Like, here's the truth. You were very much trying to like wipe the eyes from people here. And this is such a devotional energy. I am hearing the word bhakti. So this could have been like a bhakti yoga. This could be like the mother Ganges, like the river Ganges. But there was some kind of purification process. There was a love like between you and the water. Like it's almost like only the water could be your lover after like your lover died. Or it like actually was your lover. Because again, like this person could have like died in a Navy death, or they could have like drowned, or something like that. So it's almost like your lover became the water to you, like embodied, and the water is spirituality and the water is God. That's kind of like how they, your guides like switched you. And it's like you walked through an opening into spirituality, into like freedom is what I'm getting. Liberation. May all beings be free. I'm seeing you do this. May all beings be free. May all beings be liberated. May all beings be free. May all beings be liberated. May all beings be free. May all beings be liberated. And I'm hearing like Arhat or Bodhisattva. And if you're still here, like potentially you have chosen a Bodhisattva path where it's like you devoted yourself to like the betterment of humanity and that like higher mission, that higher service. But an Arhat is somebody who becomes enlightened and then like doesn't necessarily come back. This is crazy. So it's like your love lost opened your eyes. It wasn't actually a loss. It was like, well, I mean, it definitely was. This was like a devotional energy here between the two of you for sure. But the love you lost, like you found the light of God is what I'm hearing. Like through the storm is what I'm hearing. Through the storm, through the looking glass. So I'm getting the sense in that life, this feels very much like an internal journey where it's like you fell down the rabbit hole and you you learned a lot, like you confronted a lot of things. It was kind of trippy. I think you had a lot of strange things happen to you, a lot of miracles, a lot of unexplained things happen to you. Thank you so much, Tasha, for the super chat. Like this is kind of crazy, but I do feel like there's a lot of sneaky energy here around. So you definitely chose to go down like a different path here. And there could have even been somebody that was scheming around trying to get you. Like after your partner died, they could have even maybe organized your lover dying. There's this one movie that I refuse to watch. Like I watched it one time. It was so horrifying to me. Maybe because I resonate with it. I don't know. But it was like, there were these two best friends and like this beautiful girl. The girl was in love with somebody. And like the friend who was just wormy and slimy, literally orchestrated for that man, her lover, to be like dead and then like imprisoned in a tower. And then he like married her and had a family with her and treated her badly and was out womanizing and everything. Just horrible. So there could have been somebody here sneaking around trying to get you, but I don't think they got you. I think you went a different way. You joined like a monastic order, and this person's very underhanded, like very much a betrayer. They couldn't believe that you went like the way that you did, that you went the other way. After this heartbreak, somebody here could have been scheming around trying to cause you some kind of a heartbreak in that past life. There could have, and because they wanted some kind of quick results. They wanted to change your opinion on something, maybe in order to force you into a marriage or force you into a job, force you into submission is what I'm getting. And instead you left. You packed your stuff and you left. Like you took some kind of like different path. And this person was like totally shocked by that. But it ultimately like led to some kind of like betrayal or somebody, it either did. So this could have either been a lover that you had, or somebody was trying to potentially do this to you, but I think you escaped. Like you just up and left. Because there was whatever this was, like if this was directed towards you and somebody's trying to push you down a path in life that you didn't want to go down, I think that you like potentially up and left. Yeah. Happiness saw it happen. Maybe that's why she up and left. Joy called me a cheater, says she ain't coming back. You up and left to like go to a spiritual life, and it surprised this person, but there was a bigger betrayal coming. There was a bigger betrayal coming that I think you avoided, or like spirit got you out of the way from whatever that was. Yeah, you found your freedom and you got your wish fulfillment. This person didn't get their wish fulfillment though, and it put this person, whoever the scheming person is, into their head, watching you walk away. Yeah. So I'm getting that for some of you, it's like there was a lover that you had that got like lost like that. Maybe you were married or whatever, then yeah, I don't know. So you walked away from like having the traditional family life or something like that. You chose a life of independence and it set you free. Wow. And it healed you. This is crazy. So this is like an immense amount of power that's coming through here. And you did it like yourself. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Anything else? Like, I kind of don't know what else to say. And I feel like obviously you're on a spiritual path in this lifetime. And, but this would kind of be bodhisattva work. Like, I think spirituality rejuvenates you quite a bit, but you'll notice that spirituality is your savior. Like whenever you turn to God or whenever you turn to spirituality, like nobody can touch you. Nobody can really harm you. Like if you're genuinely connecting with that energy, the people like the people who are trying to pierce you with their arrows just like fall away. And I mean that metaphorically. It's like they can't really touch you. And I think it's been like very surprising here to some people that you went the way that you did, or that you have this heart for God the way that you do. Your devotion is what consecrates you, makes you holy, makes you pure, and keeps you safe. God is your protector, I heard. My sword, my shield, my power still. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that makes me think of that Jesus quote that Vidya just said, that somebody here she was talking to said that she and somebody else were fisher people in their last lifetime. That reminds me of the Jesus quote that says, I will teach you to be fishers of men, something like that. That's, yeah. This death led you to a new life, and it was unexpected for you and for other people. This is like the light of enlightenment. Yeah, God. And I'm also hearing that quote in the Bible that says like, you prepared a feast for me before my enemies. Like you honored me before my enemies, something like that. Like God blessed you and honored you and bolstered you and strengthened you before your enemies that were potentially trying to sabotage you or something here like that. This is crazy. Anything else that wants to come through here for this lifetime, Spirit? I'm seeing a lot of candles. Yeah, sanctuary. And I'm hearing that like from Notre Dame where he's like, sanctuary. Okay, so Esmeralda. Somebody could have tried to frame you as like an Esmeralda, a Jezebel spirit or something like that. But it was just because, she does not want to get in line, Esmeralda. She does not want to follow the rules, Esmeralda. This is kind of reflecting a little bit in pile number 1. She doesn't want to follow the rules. So potentially, like somebody was trying to, like the church could have tried to throw you out because you were branded like a harlot or something like that, or somebody was trying to paint you this way. You're not. Like, I think something happened here, or like, I don't know, you could have been a single mom, or because of like the death of your partner that you love very much, or something here like that. I don't know. But somebody here was watching like you be shunned, and they were like, now's my time to make my move. But you were like, nah. And then Spirit gave you sanctuary, and you had to find this key here. Remember I said that? She's the key in pile number 1. She's the key. Oh my gosh. Yeah. You got denied some kind of like happy family, but it's somehow set you free. It's somehow set you free. That's just like literally what I'm getting. So, but somebody could have tried to paint you as like, you could have been like, she lives with like the underground kind of a people. She's like scrappier or something. You may feel very like bohemian or very vagabond. Like you don't want people to kind of like hold you down, that kind of thing. Yeah, like the 10 of Swords, that's what I was picturing in my mind earlier, but it came out in reverse. Spirit made sure that you did not get whatever somebody was trying to plan for you or frame you as. And look, we have the Empress. This could have involved a pregnancy of some kind. Somebody here was watching you as well, like wanting to come towards you, waiting for something. Seeing if your heart was healing, feeling like something needed to switch in their circumstances and that you were blocked off to them. This could have been like baby daddy, if the baby daddy I don't know, had gone away. Somebody here actually really did love you, but they were in a functioning dysfunction. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to leave that one there. So let's just see what else, like how you can kind of integrate this, how you can work with this, how this is useful for you to know. Okay, stop trying to win. Like you can't win. Your victory is not in strategizing. And you don't have to worry about your haters. Like you don't have to out strategize them. You don't have to outplan them. If you are in your devotional energy, if you are pure of spirit, spirit is just protecting you. Okay. And also people who try to do this to you, they get their karma. Like I just feel like, this is spirit's doing something to this guy over here. In the background, and you're kind of given a heads up. Spirit talks to you. Spirit wants you to know that spirit is keeping you safe, and that you are healing, and you might have to live a bit of a different life here than a traditional life in order to heal. That's why they're bringing this up. That's why they're bringing this up. You may have to live more of a different life here in this lifetime. Be more Aquarian, live outside the bounds of society, leave the house of your father is what I'm hearing, or the guidance or the tutelage of your father. You may have to go against that in order to find yourself again, to connect with your true father, spirituality, and in order to heal. But you have to, there's something waiting for you, but you have to fully embrace that. Like I might not be the same, just the way that I'm hearing like in the past life, she couldn't fit in. That wasn't her path forward. She had to embrace like her aloneness, or she just had to kind of give up on that and walk away. Like that's where I'm hearing that song from Rapunzel. When will my life begin? So if you're asking yourself like, when will my life begin? It's because you have to, what you're calling life is something very traditional. It's like, when are all these like things that I thought I want like coming to me? But you have to embrace that you're more Aquarian and that you might need to go your own way. So you need to discover your freak flag, discover where you're different, and follow that in order to heal. And that's when your life is going to like start feeling adventurous and exciting. You're going to meet, this is like the hero's journey. You're going to meet like friends and helpful people, and potentially even an emperor here. But it's going to be when you're grieving something here, some kind of like very painful loss. And it could be releasing like the dream of something traditional. Or it could be the loss of like a love. And it's because you haven't grieved fully the loss of a love here. You haven't fully let go of it or like released it. It's keeping you in this stagnant state, but it's also turning your intuition on. It's connecting with your spirituality. That's this past life. And that spirit can then come into your life and like switch things here. And I do think that you're going to have something that looks kind of stable maybe, but it's going to be very different. And it's definitely going to be by way of like joining the circus or something like that, some kind of energy. And that's when you're going to be amazed at how quick things move here. You're going to be amazed at how quick things move here. But you have to be the hermit. And it's like fully, I feel like your life changes when you least expect it. And I'm talking about remember I was just saying this. Like the sage sits in the cave, he is the hermit, and he feels whole within himself and like nothing is missing. I feel like almost when you're in that and you're not even wondering when is your life going to begin, because you know that what you're experiencing now is your life and it's perfectly okay, and that you're working on the acceptance. You're working about calming your energy and not viewing the place where you currently are as being lacking in any way. It's just, this is my life and it's perfect and it's whole. And I'm not going to ask like why I'm not having something else, because I'm focused, because I know that where I should be putting my focus and attention isn't on gaining stuff out here. It's just, obviously what that's telling me is that I'm not in an energy of acceptance. Not fully. I'm not in an energy of acceptance. That's why I feel this like, I should be doing something else. I should be doing this. I should be doing that. In reality, you're fine. Just stop, calm your breath, center your energy, allow your energy to come back down, and you'll realize nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong. I'm fine. I'm making a problem where there is no problem. I accept myself. I accept my life fully. That full breath, that was my purpose in that moment. And I'm fully fulfilled in that. Thank you so much, Nikki. And thank you for your order too. Because so many people think that healing is just like, okay, like kind of like solving a puzzle logically. Like I understand what this is and I understand what that is and why that happened and this, that, and the other thing. Well, if that doesn't translate over into some kind of energetic release in your body, why do you do all the logical stuff? Because you can't put it down. If you're a very cerebral person, which a lot of us are in the West, you do all the logical puzzle piece kind of a thing in order for you to resolve something here so that energetically you can put it down. If energetically you could put it down without logically dissecting it, that would be preferable. However, we have to understand that we make these big brains in the West, this big cerebral kind of energy that then we have to kind of dismantle a bit. That's all. That's the only reason why you're putting it together. Spirit didn't put that person in your path for you to solve a riddle, but it just so happens that you kind of need that. You specifically kind of need that in order to be able to put it down. In the East, in the sage traditions and the yogic traditions with the meditation and the yogas and the integrated system over there, they don't have to like kind of work around the mind so much because they don't build it up so much in the first place. So instead they just focus on bringing the attention back to the breath and like here in this moment. But you can sit there in this moment. We all do this in the West, especially. I'm sure in the East too, but it's like, and your mind is just still going a million miles a minute. So there's certain things that I think you kind of have to process through just to really truly believe that actually you are okay. But it's not required, you know, and the more that you can kind of just get comfortable with like, everything is as it should be. Everything is as it should be. Everything is as it should be. You know, and you put your mind in its place. Thank you so much for the super chat, Amy. And you put your mind in its place. That's important. And say, you don't need to know all the answers here. You are not the authority here, and nobody needs to run anything by you you don't have to approve everything that happens in our life. Okay. Why? Because you're limited and you're stupid and you don't know anything. And the fact that you don't know that is troubling. So you need to take a back seat so that God can do God's thing and just say, everything is as it should be. I don't understand this, God, but I trust that just living my life is an alchemical process in and of itself, and that all is well, and that all will be made clear in perfect time. That's the energy of acceptance. And nobody's saying you have to throw a party every time something goes wrong, but it's just understanding that life is itself an experience, and that part of that experience is acceptance. We're so bad at acceptance. I find that working with a lot of Western students, when somebody is confused, when somebody is unsettled in their energy, a lot of times they're not actually confused. A lot of times, yeah, you've been working on the healing. A lot of times what it is, the answer is acceptance, and you just don't like that. Because acceptance to Westerners looks like doing nothing in a bad way, right? Nothingness, no thingness is talked about often in the East. It's a desired state. They want that, right? But, there's nothing to do. Like, there's nothing to do. Westerners really don't like that. We like to know that there's a plan. We like to know I do this, and then I do this, and then I do this, and then I'm going to therefore bring about. There's this kind of control thing with the West, because that's why we're obsessed with knowledge, is because we want to be able to kind of control certain outcomes. And I think this ties into something here in your past life. You were a meditator. You were more tapped into the right side of your brain. You were more in a flow state. So I think with this group, when you're lost, when it dawned on me. Oh, I'm hearing that Celine Dion song. When I hear you breathe, I get wings to fly. I feel that I'm alive. So this is a group where it's like your mission in life, should you choose to accept it, your purpose is being energy. It's the feminine side of life. It's beingness. It's knowing that there's nothing to do. Maybe you don't need to do anything. It's just being alive. I get wings to fly. I know that I'm alive. It's like, I just know that I'm alive. I think that's what you knew in the past life, because like you lost your lover and you're like, well, what's my purpose now? Like I had my whole life planned out before me, and then just that was gone. And it's like, well, I think the only thing you knew in that life is that I'm alive. Like that was it. Like all I know is that I'm alive, you know? So Spirit is just saying, when you call on me, right? And you are not alone. And it's just tapping into that beingness energy. Because when you start to think, that's how you get yourself astray, this pile too. It's like when you think that you're meant to be achieving or accomplishing some kind of arbitrary goal that you're setting for yourself in the external world, you need to start knowing, yeah, I'm hearing enough is enough. You're at the end of the rope with that. There are certain people that need to connect with that energy, okay? This isn't a blanket statement for everybody. This is pile number 2, if you're resonating with this. That's going to fuck you up more and more. Like if you don't just address that directly, that's when you get lost. That's when you get confused. That's when you get off your path, because the answer with this group is, always was, will forever be acceptance. The answer is, you're not confused. You're not stifled. You're not stagnant. You're obstinate. You are refusing to do the one thing that you know you need to do. It's just not going to feel satisfying. Because like, you know, in the West, you know that feeling you get when you just like check off like your goal sheet and you're like, I did the laundry and I did this and I did that. And then like before you go to sleep, you're like, I did it all, you know? And you feel so accomplished because you can actually see everything that you got done. Well, the acceptance, you can't actually see everything that you kind of accomplished. But what you accomplished still is a lot. It's a different switch over into the brain. It's a different way of viewing things. And it is more advanced and it is more spiritual, and it's being in the world, but not of the world. Right. And so this can't just be something that you write on a keychain or, and kind of carry with you. This needs to be inside of you. You need to know that when you're frustrated or when you're confused, you're just refusing to do the one thing that you deep down know that you need to do, which is just chill and accept and know that all is well and all is good. And I'm also hearing this too shall pass. So that's this hermit energy. This is like, in the West, we really do build up quite a bit of obstacle here. And Ramana Maharshi, that's one thing he says, the mind is a blockage to realization. So when you start going into the mind and you start saying like, how do I plan my way out of this? You're already off track. I need to know because I need to understand. You're already off track. Like the time is now, the time has come. This is actually a very advanced spiritual place to be. This is actually a major kind of turning point in your spirituality. But the time, like this kind of works for other people, right? That haven't kind of reached this yet, where it's like, they do just go to church on Sunday. They do just have the keychain and they're seen as a spiritual person. They just kind of have took spirituality and they've pasted it on their chest. Like a patch of the ego, on their race card. I'm a spiritual person and I'm a soccer mom and you can't do that. You're too advanced. Okay. It just doesn't work. Your life will kind of fall apart. It'll unravel because you already know too much. This can't be on your keychain. It needs to be inside of you. You need to be living this. And it might mean tucking yourself away more or like removing yourself from social activities, because also the comparison energy is throwing you off. You think that an accomplished person looks like XYZ, but your version of accomplishment, because you genuinely are on a spiritual path, it looks much different. It kind of looks like sitting alone in meditation for hours and being able to do that peaceably and calmly and not feeling like anything's wrong. That's what your version of success actually looks like. You're not going to see that on Instagram. Okay. If you see somebody meditating, there was this person one time, I saw that she was posting like these yoga pictures, and I had just kind of like gotten into like the Eastern thought, and I was getting into yoga and stuff, and I was kind of feeling really insecure about it because it didn't come naturally to me, to be honest. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that you were doing yoga. Maybe we could go together, because I thought I would feel less self-conscious, like maybe if we could go together. And she goes, Jessica, I'm not actually into yoga. I wanted to take a sexy pic and not have anybody at me, so I just use that as an excuse. And I was like, oh. Okay, we're very close, me and this person. She didn't feel like she needed to hold back. That's the Instagram stuff, is like, this is my ego. I need to be seen as this kind of a person, but you can't be pushing this out there like towards everybody. You need to be actually like living it. Yeah. And space is not a bad thing. So you're not seeing your version of success reflected back to you at the world. And that is a very painful place to be. And I do think that it actually is very beneficial for you to spend quite a bit of time alone. I think that you're kind of in the place where you need to be, because God and spirit kind of knows that that's very beneficial for you. But if you might need Sangha, like you might need spiritual community, where it's like, maybe you go on a meditation retreat so you don't feel like such a freak weirdo, like, and you understand that there are other people that also take this path as seriously as you do. And you get to see that reflected back in the world, even if you can't live there all the time or something, but just so that you can see that version of success. And you might meet somebody there that is somebody you can kind of look up to, or like to have a teacher where you can say like, Ramana Maharshi in his little loincloth living in a cave, eating like smears of oatmeal. Like that, to me, that's the strongest man I have ever seen. That is the most successful human being I have ever seen. I live in America. I would never have seen that. I would never have seen that without the internet, without books, without going to Omega and being introduced to like different. I would never have had that image of like, that is a powerful ass human being, and I want to be like that, And I've never seen anybody show me the way to that. Like, you have to find your touchstones. You have to find what you admire and respect in other people and put it up in your house. Remind yourself what the goal is for you, because it's very counterculture to what the rest of the world is doing. Oh, good. Yeah. And you might be afraid to admit that that's what you really want too, because some people are saying, I'm scared to admit that this is what I really want and desire, right? Because society is telling you have to be this, that, and the other thing. Like Ramana says, the only thing that you really need to do in life is to have realization, right? That like, this ain't it. Like, this is not where you build this is the land that passes away. This is the land of suffering, right? Like that. Ramana didn't say that, but it's like, that's Buddhism, right? Life is suffering. So when you wise up and you kind of see through the illusion, and it's like, I understand that I can do whatever, and you can, but just don't be putting your like happiness and your fulfillment and stuff in these things. It's going to disappoint you every single time. The key is like within, and I think it's about again, with those of us in the West, it's like, I think this is why we're kind of like building these communities and coming together. And that's, again, part of what you're doing is like, you are bringing this light into the world somewhere. We're forming this network. Notice how we're not all in the same location. Like, do you think that's by accident? We all have the same heart and we all have the same engine, but we're not in the same location. Why do you think that is? It's because we are the weird ones, like in the place where we're at. And we're kind of reminding people that, like, to turn their light on, to live from a place of awareness and love and genuineness and consciousness. Well, that's not going to happen if we're all just kind of clustered together. I remember one girl saying that at Omega. She's like, I know that we all feel so loved and so seen and so comforted, like when we come together here at Omega, but we cannot let this be our crutch. We have to leave eventually, because a lot of people are kind of like lifers there and everything, which is a beautiful life too in and of itself. And some people, that's their path. But she was like, we have to be brave enough to like go into the belly of the beast again, just to like be ourselves and like live the truths that we've discovered here, like just around regular everyday people, you know? So I feel like that's what's kind of like going on, because it's transitory and death is inevitable. I like honestly do not know how people just miss that fact. I think it's too painful for them to look at. You are gonna die one day. So what's worth it here in this world? Like, yeah. Unconditional love. Yeah. And love means like that unconditional love is like with no strings attached. It's not tinged with craving and possessiveness and you are mine. That's also why I really, really shy away from the twin flame thing, because so many people, I think when people have like false twin flames or they think that they're on a twin flame journey, it's because they have these feelings of craving and possessiveness that come up that they don't actually realize those are not spiritual emotions. Like it's pointing you to like towards your realization, but you have to let go of all of that. That's the key to liberation. And that also, remember I said the lover died and that's what opened up this new path. So for some of you, you could have had that with somebody where it's like you brought up all this craving and all of this like stuff, which you have to recognize is the source of all suffering. That's the Four Noble Truths, right? Life is suffering. There's craving is the root of suffering. There is a path away from that suffering, and that path is the Dharma, the Eightfold Path. It's like releasing this. It's no longer telling yourself that that's not the cause. That's the cause. That's the devil loves to do that, right? The devil loves to kind of say, oh, this is divine. This is spiritual, but really it's not. Like, it's not the answer. So some of you may have had to kind of like overcome that blockage in yourself and like recategorize it. That could be the mirror here in this life of letting go and walking through to that new door. I understand some people really feel this kind of twin flame thing and it doesn't come from a place of craving or possessiveness, but I think those people are few and far between. Yeah. Yeah. I've avoided the twin flame talk like the plague. I still don't know what it is. And I don't know what it is too. Like, I understand that people have like, an experience, but my approach is like, you have to get very curious about that, because the human mind, we create constructs and we create our worldview. And you could create a false worldview. We do it quite often. That's why as a species, like literally as a creature, we're quite delusional. Like it's just a function of human nature. So if you don't go back and you don't check your assumptions, so, because I think what a lot of people do is it's like, I have this unexplainable feeling that I've never felt before. And then they jump to giving that a label. This is a twin flame. And that twin flame comes with a lot of baggage, that label. It means I have to be together with you. It means you're the whatever. Like we're like perfect. Okay. It means all these things. You didn't even consider like each one of those things individually. You weren't taught to. You were just taught, oh, this is what this is, and here's like the package of what that is. So I'm really big advocate. I think this is absolutely crucial if you're truly going to be a spiritual person on a spiritual path, to instead say exactly what it is that you mean. I feel this way about a person. I've never experienced anything like this before. That's as much as you know for sure. I'm convinced of that. Most people, that's as much as you know for absolute truth. You feel a pull towards that person. Maybe that's another thing. So then what does that do? That creates openness instead of rigidness and definitions. It creates openness. It creates a curiosity. What does curiosity do? Curiosity creates a path. It creates an openness. You're exploring on that path. That's what gives you adventure and purpose. That's what sets you out on the hero's journey. They just shut it down before like it even starts. You want to be on a twin flame journey? Why is everything in a box then? Why is there all these definitions and it's one size fits all? If there is such a thing as a twin flame journey, it doesn't look the same. And I know they say these kinds of things, but they talk out both sides of their neck is like what I'm getting. Anyways, I don't want to like get off on a tangent. I just really don't like the mainstream. Like, I know everybody here is like very nuanced. The people that are kind of drawn to me is more like that, but it's like, we should be able to say like, you're not doing all this, like so much of that rhetoric is anti-spirituality, like plain as day, it's anti-spirituality. Spirituality, you're supposed to, not like be overcoming your cravings. It's non-duality. It's non-attachment. It's non-physical even, like the ties that bind. It's like, anyways, it's just like, just get curious about it. Like, you tell God what it is and who you're supposed to be with and what it is that you're supposed to do. Anyways, yeah. Okay, so that was a big one. And a lot of that stuff, it's like, I don't like to say that a lot of times because I don't want it to come off like I'm being critical, but it's like sometimes we kind of have to check people. And I know, and that's a divine purpose too, like the heretic. Some of you, maybe that's like part of your spiritual path, is just being the heretic and being like, no, you actually need to put a little more thought into this. You say that you're like a reflective person. You say that you're open-minded, but yet you're actually being very rigid in the thing that you kind of like really identify with as your spiritual path. Why is that? Like, look into that. Like being the disruptor, because when people, thank you so much, Elena. When people are lost and they're confused and then they don't know why, a lot of times it's because a tower that they've built up, right? This is a tower moment, has to kind of like fall down. That's uncomfortable, but it's also the best thing for some people sometimes. And that's where you also have to remove your ego from the equation for you to be doing that. Because a lot of times what happens, okay, yeah, this is a truth teller part. This is a part of the message. A lot of times when you point out an uncomfortable or an inconvenient truth to people, they associate you, like they feel bad. They feel panicked, right? Because it's like, no, I've built up a lot of stuff here. Like, on this one assumption that I kind of made. I've built so much on top of it. So it's uncomfortable for me. And it's violent for this to kind of like all come falling down. And they look up and you were the one that threw the stone that did it. Even though that's what's going to liberate them and set them free, they're going to go, you bitch, and then all of that is just going to get like hammered on you. And you have to build the forthrightness within to say, I walk in the truth. I walk in the light. Their problem is with the truth. Their problem is with God. Like if they did have some kind of, if it can be destroyed by the truth, it should be destroyed by the truth. So when the truth is what destroys something here, right? Not necessarily you could have said something that like sparked the truth, but the truth itself is what like destroyed something here, right? So when that happens, like it takes a lot for you to know like that was separate from me, and that that's separate from me, and that it's like, no, I'm not going to not say the truth because your ego doesn't like it, So they shoot the messenger. Yeah. So it's a dangerous place to kind of put yourself in. Okay. So truth telling is exhausting and scary. At least at this point. Yes. So true. Okay. So moving on. And I kind of got lost in the moment with that. Oh my gosh. My piles today. I'm so sorry. This is kind of like trailed on. So a lot of this, I think this is true as well. This is more feminine, and like the spiritual sides of life tend to be that. They're more philosophical. It's more like, let's have a conversation. It's less, there's certain parts of it where it's like, I'm giving a presentation or whatever, but it's like, we kind of have to knock things around a little bit more. Oh. Okay. I'm loving the topics coming in the live stream today. Nice. Yeah. Hopefully it's feeling like very relevant. And also with pile number 2, I think this is why we all come together, like, and we're supposed to be coming together, is because it's hard to do those things, but then like we're all kind of trying to do that same thing as well, together, so we can build like our safeness and our sacredness, here as well. Okay, so let's move on. I have been avoiding pile number 3 here as well because this energy scares me a little bit. Pile number 2 does somewhat feel of a continuation of pile number 1. Okay. Let me just refresh myself. Okay. I'm scared of this. Are you scared? Let's not be scared together. Let's just hold hands, okay? Oh my gosh, let's just hold hands. And then like, look, these two people are like, reaching for each other. Okay. I just heard, cut out the liars, stay close to people you know are loyal. Okay. Cut out the liars, stay close to people you know are loyal. That's the path forward to untie these knots, these confusions. Okay, so this is a group where, how do I put this? Okay, there's like a manipulator in this, okay? It's kind of like giving kingpin energy, and I know that sounds really, really dramatic, and I don't necessarily mean like a mafioso boss that, sits at the head of the table, like eating cigars? Do people eat cigars? smoking like a cigar and being like, yo, Tony, like, go, like, I don't necessarily mean that, okay? Although take it however it resonates. But there does seem to be like this mafioso boss figure. I'm hearing like it could be your dad. It could be a boss, like, I don't know, or you could find yourself in repeated situations like this. But this feels like overall, there's some kind of like mastermind plan. And this person, I'm almost picturing like the Eye of Saruman, where it's like they see everything, or like, and this, it could just be that they have like informants, or they have like a network. And so they're always like, they just seem to know like everything. I don't know. But there's some kind of like big bad in this. There's like a manipulator or something like that. And there's definitely a person in a place of power. And how this person kind of congregates power around them is by keeping information like separated out. So it's like this person only knows this and this person only knows that. And so that way they can kind of like keep people under control, and they can kind of like maneuver people around, and they create these knots. So this could be somebody that like creates certain pairings. This is how karma has been formed here for this group, is somebody here who thought they're playing God, is what I'm hearing. This manipulator is playing God. And by doing so, they rival themselves with God, because God wants you to connect with your heart, and from that place, just express. And that's you being on your own path, right? And like flowing with the Tao. That's the energy of God. Every single person has their own unique energy signature and wants and creativities and self-sovereignty and their right to that. But this like manipulator energy is playing God, because they're the ones that's like kind of bringing people together in this like karmic tie, this karmic knot. So this could be like you two are partners together. Like it could be romance. This could be like arranged marriages or something like that in order to try to get ahead in life. This person's like, here's how we're going to do it. Here's how we're going to take over the Boston area, is what I just heard. It's like you two are going to get married, and you two are going to get married, and then you're going to get into the cattle industry, and you're going to get into this industry. This is like kind of like the saboteur energy that I was saying, but this is somebody maybe with funds or resources or with strategy. This is giving Peaky Blinders. That's what it's giving. Peaky Blinders. Like the Godfather energy or something like that. So it's like this person has a plan, but they like bring certain people together. And that's these like kind of karmic energies. Because this person, like I said, they're playing God, but they're not all knowing like God is. They might be pretty smart, but you always want to watch people that don't understand their own faults and their own flaws and their own shortcomings and their own like stupidity. To be honest with you, we're all dumb. Like, I think that's part of the divine plan. Like, I don't know. You have to kind of admit that like you shouldn't be the puppet master. Nobody should. Nobody should be in charge of people, and nobody should really want to have power and control like over other people in any capacity, right? Even parenthood, because for some of you, I think this is parents. It's like a parent's job is, yes, to set limits and restrictions and to enforce those things, but also just to make sure their kid can function. Like they're not meant to be like dominate over like their child's every life or something like that, every move. So this person creates karmic knots. They were the source of a lot of your karmic knots. I'm hearing it could be a father, or it could be there's some kind of like overall kingpin, or like this could even be something like Warren Jeffs, like in the cults that like that what is it, FLDS, like that kind of a group where it's like that somebody else has to like approve marriages. So, okay, so this is like in a past life. I forgot we were doing a past life reading. I'm like, this is so strange. Do people still do this? Thank you so much, Catherine, for the super chat. Okay, so this makes sense, okay? Because we're doing a past life reading. I'm like, this is wild. It's the Wild West out here. So in this lifetime, this person could be something like a father or a boss. You could feel this unnatural allegiance. You feel like you have to do everything that this person is telling you to do, or maybe you feel afraid, like, something bad is going to happen, even if they're not like threatening you directly or something. You've built up past lifetimes here with this person. This is multiple times. You've built up past lifetimes here with this person where you just kind of blindly followed what this person said because you didn't want to, get muscle like sent. There was fear of repercussion, and also like fear of your own inadequacy. So it was kind of nice for you to just push yourself and have to push the burden of taking up the mantle of your own personhood and your own independence and your own life and making something of that. It was nice to kind of just put it to the side and have somebody else do it. So this could be a karmic that you're married to that was potentially like this as well. in this lifetime. This could be like a parent, or this could be a partner that you're paired up with, because it's just easy. It's like this partner just is always telling you what to do. They don't care. They're not like, well, what do you want to do? What do you like to do? What are your interests? None of that. They might, but then they're always just kind of bossing you around. And like, that's what I'm talking about. This person in the past was like still manipulative and like still very bossy, but just like, this person just wants to be in charge of like everything, and they have a lot of greed, and they want power, and they want status, and they want position, and it's self-aggrandizing. That's like really what it is. But there's and this person may speak in riddles too, because they keep you like confused. But part of what they do is like, again, they keep certain information to themselves. So you have to, it's like, okay, I mean, I guess. So they're like, well, we have to do this because of this, 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 and this. But then they withhold, lying by omission. They withhold certain information because you're like, well, I want to make my own mind up about this. And they're like, I mean, I just told you everything. Like, doesn't that seem like what we should do? And you're like, I mean, yeah, but you feel like something's missing. You feel like you need other information to make your own decisions about it. And it's true. There is something else missing. This person they're manipulative. They don't even think about it. This is a person who's so manipulative. They don't even think about how manipulative they are. They just withhold that. You sense kind of that you're being dicked around a bit, but you can't quite put your finger up on why. And that's just because this person hides things. They like put things in the shade that you can't see, and you don't know that you don't know what you don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's like you just kind of sense it, right? I just heard sensei. So this person could have been a teacher to you, and this could have been like an East Asian, like this could have been a past lifetime in like, an Asian kind of a thing where there's a sensei or a master, or I am kind of picturing like now a martial arts like place, which is just kind of giving like masculine fraternity sort of a thing of like, this is how we're going to be strong. This is how we're going to do this. This is how we're going to do that. But we're going to do this. There's a method. And they take what this person does. They have a knack for this. They take spiritual concepts, or they take elevated concepts and philosophies that they know people resonate with and that they agree with, and they reframe it all to point towards your submission or obedience or anything that's going to take away your self-sovereignty, right? I also heard this could be gendered stuff as well, where it's like that's part of how they get you into like obedience, is that they tell you that in order for you to be good and to like live up to some kind of pinnacle, because you're a male or because you're a female, you can't do this, this, or this, or you shouldn't want to do this, this, or this, or, this is like a real man does X, Y, Z. But he never cries or paints his fingernails or like, wears pink, or like, even if you want to, like, too bad. Like, you don't get to be that full human. You have to be this. So that's the way that they kind of keep people limited, and they keep people in boxes. And this is like this to me, it's like a trickle down effect. This is very hierarchical. So this could even be like, I don't know, I'm picturing like Joel Osteen, he's like one of the pastors of those like mega churches. And so everyone is just like, drinking in all the stuff that he says about like the prosperity gospel. God wants you to have a personal private plane, and everybody's like, yes, he does. And then that just kind of like trickles down like into every single thing. It's like, so this karmic energy from a past life, it's like you might not have met this person even personally to have felt their effects around you and your community and the people that you're around and this, that, or the other thing. Does that make sense? It's just kind of, this is hidden in the shadows. There's like a shadow manipulation. And it has to do with like culture, and it has to do with like expectations. And I think potentially like the masculine hierarchy that is around. And they keep masculine energies in, because male energies are all ruled over by Mars, right? Like they all start that way. Regardless of anything about a man, they are ruled over by Mars the same way all female energies are ruled over by Venus. Like just as kind of a blanket energy. And Mars is a soldier, and it likes to compete. So soldiers follow orders. And when they compete, they want to also compete for ranks, And so whoever's at the top of whatever, that hierarchical structure makes it really appealing. And it seems dutiful, or it seems accomplished to fight amongst your peers, like to get a higher and higher rank. But it's antisocial. It erodes the teamwork between masculine energies because they're fighting each other instead of being pro-social and kind of banding together in order to use that masculine energy for protective purposes and to like bring about their dreams and visions and to build skills and stuff. Instead, that's how they kind of keep these masculine energies like around you or in your family, like under some kind of control. I'm hearing the word mind control, but I don't mean like, somebody tied somebody up in their living room and made them watch exclusively videos of Mayberry and only eat a slice of cheese once every day. Like, that's not what I mean in terms of like mind control. I just mean like this relentless kind of cultural thing that's like coming through. But I think for some of you, this is an actual figure in your life that you know and you can relate to. And it's kept you away from your soulmate overall, like in terms of love, because they've twisted your mind up into a pretzel when it comes to what it is that you should want for yourself. What should be your guiding light? Because it's anything but yourself. Because they don't want you to rise up against them. They don't want you to challenge them. They don't want you to question them. They don't want you to figure it out for yourself. But you know who does? God. God does. The process. God is interested in you having an experience here. That's what God wants, and wants to see you come into your full potential, wants to help you along that. But it's like you must walk that journey. And also, you have free will here. God gives us free will. So you have to choose certain things for yourself. So you can choose to partner up with this. You can choose to give over your own thought processes and just kind of do whatever this person tells you to do. But this person is self-serving. Whoever it is that you're following, even if it's a parent or a partner, this person is self-serving. I think this person might be really brilliant at acting like they're pro-social, acting like they're comforting or that they're considering you or that they're caring about you. But it's like, and this is different than like what I was saying in pile number 2, how it's like you're a truth teller and you really have to question people's delusions. But in pile number 2, it's like they'll question somebody's delusions and like they're very hands off. This like, they don't have like a dog in that fight. Do you know what I'm saying? They just align with truth. They have a heart and a passion for the truth. It's very spiritual, pile number 2. They might use spirituality. They may use, it's like they try to, they may use these things that make them seem elevated, right? But in reality, they're controlling, and they just try to control your mind, and in order to control your actions, in order to get you bound up so that you'll never leave them, or so that you'll do exactly what they want, basically so they can use you like an object, like put you wherever they need you to be at any given time. And they just kind of sit down. And also this person uses other people to do this as well. So I'm hearing peer pressure. So this person might be really brilliant at worming themselves in with like your friends or your peer group, or they might be very talented at like taking over mind control. That's what it is. It's like, this is a con artist potentially, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're like always out in front, doing things. Like this could be somebody that kind of sits in the corner, but they know they're a chess player. They know every little thing in order to kind of use peer pressure as well to like flying monkeys. This person has flying monkeys that they can then like weaponize and kind of put around you to make you feel like you're the crazy one, or that you're in an echo chamber, or I'm seeing the scene in Talladega Nights where Ricky Bobby and his best friend Cal Naughton Jr. Cal Naughton always does like the slingshot move for Ricky Bobby to help him like win the race whenever he's not going to, right? So he comes up to him after one of the races and he was like, I was thinking like maybe you could sling me in for one. And he was like, but then how am I going to win? Like if you win, then how am I going to win? And he's like, yeah, you're right. It was a stupid question. Like, I know that you're supposed to win. Like, it's that like kind of an energy where you think this person's on your side until you suggest that like maybe they could slingshot you in for a win, And if they do, that like, I'm not saying that's a hard and fast rule. It's just like this person is very calculated. They breadcrumb you. They only give you enough so that you can have to keep relying on them for more. This is reminding me of another reading that we did too, where it's like there was a masculine energy and he was like pretending to be the King of Pentacles. And I remember saying something like he owes everyone in his life like advice, proper advice. Because there's something about this person that is maybe very scrappy, or he's like overcome the circumstances of his birth, but he's so insecure that he like from where he's sitting, he should be able to see like that a certain perspective that people are taking is causing all the problems in their life. So he kind of owes it to them to respect them enough as human beings to just call out like, hey, your perspective is wrong. If you shift the perspective, you're going to be able to do this on yourself. Everything should make sense. It should fall into place. But instead, he just tells them the next step to do and the next step after it to do, because he wants the control. He wants them to have to come to him like, well, what do I do next, daddy? And he's like, well, you do this, honey, babe. And then he gets praise for that. And really, it's like he should be able to say, like, if you just switch your mindset and you understand this one thing, be free. Like, you can go do it on your own, right? He owes them kind of liberating from that, He owes them advice, but like, Yeah. Somebody just said diagnosed narcissist. Like, yeah, definitely, like, could be. If not even like like a psychopath or something, because this is like very cold, very calculated. This is long thinking. And I think I just heard they're brilliant at like mimicking you. So you think that this person is like on side. You think that this person's having an emotional experience. They're really, really good at like making you think that they care about you and making you think like, I feel like when this person looks at you or when they give you their attention or they choose you. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm literally hearing from Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby's mom, where he's like, what did you ever see in him anyway? Talking about his deadbeat dad. And she goes, I know you can't tell from looking at him, but your daddy used to be really something special. And that night at the Rustler's Steakhouse in the bathroom, he chose me. And it's like, ugh. Like this person could have that kind of an effect on people where it's like, you feel honored that they are paying attention to you. You feel honored that they chose you. They have a way of making you kind of feel that way. So you're just so enamored by like the attention that this person is giving you or that they're interacting with you that you just forget to vet them as a human and to make sure that like the things that they're saying make sense and that it aligns with you and your values as well. Like you just kind of get baffled, and that's what like that you abandon your own agency. This person is brilliant at disarming you and twisting you up in knots, confusing you so that you abandon your own agency. That's your karmic lesson here. Just don't abandon your own agency, and also stop getting enamored by this fucking creep. Like this person is a creep. Like I don't care what they look like. This also may be very traumatizing for you when you cross over, like at the end of the lifetimes that there's been at least 3 lifetimes that you have spent with this person. And in this group, there's a group here as well, because this person weaponizes groups. They weaponize group dynamics, or they try to, even if they're not in that group. This person thinks that they can inject, and then this person injects in order to turn the tide, in order to try to turn the table, to flip people's opinions against their enemies. But they'll inject a lie. They'll inject, anything. Like I'm hearing anything in order to try and mind control groups. They really do try to weaponize groups. And even like in getting me to try to understand that, I feel like they were trying to pull my attention. So another thing they do is like distraction tactics. It's like when you're on to them and when you're nailing in on something that could really like expose this person, I feel like they might have like some kind of, they do something to distract you. They're like, oh, but like, what about this thing? Like, look over here. And this could be like bringing up something else. So this person may layer problems. So like if you're in an intimate relationship with this person, it's like, you'll be like, yeah, and you're really trying to hold their feet to the fire on something. And they're like, yeah, because you're on to them and you know where you need to poke and prod in order to like expose something. You're like, yeah, but then you did this and then you did that. And this person is like, but on the flea market on Saturday, and you're like, the flea market on Saturday, we're not talking about the flea market. We're talking about Tuesday. I need you to stay focused. I need you to talk about Tuesday, or we're talking about my emotions right now. We're talking about my experience right now. Why are you pulling frame onto you? You gotta keep this person. Like this person needs kind of a bridle on them so that they duck and weave that. This person's a pathological liar. That's what it is. They duck and weave that because whenever you start to get close to the truth, they try to point your attention with a lot of energy, whether that's they use emotion or they use like a lot of noise or sound or like something. They try to divert your energy whenever it is that they are on you. And it's all in an effort to baffle you and confuse you and to lead you away from the truth. But it's like, if your mind is on, if you don't abandon your own agency, you very naturally kind of hone in on like, well, that's not really right. I mean, you said this so I'm just asking you to like account for that. And you have every right to ask this person to like account for that. But then they don't, this person is, it's like this, the way this is coming through, it's like, this is the man with the golden tongue in the Bible, but it might not be a man, okay? But like the tongue that just kind of like baffles. They might use sex energy as well. Or they might just like kiss you in the middle of a fight. And you might think that's really hot, but all they're doing is they're weaponizing you against you. They're just trying to distract you. They're not actually feeling turned on in that moment. They're just desperate to induce an intense experience to get your mind off of like whatever it was that you were kind of poking at. But I'm hearing like, okay, I had this sense of like a certain politician, I'm not going to say who, but I was like, if that's the man with the golden tongue in the Bible that like everyone was so feared that, the tongue can manipulate, Like, honestly, I'm disappointed. Like, wow. Wow, that was not at all what I thought it was going to be. I think you would have that experience with this person. Like the way that their tongue kind of like manipulates the words and stuff, you would be like, wow, I really wasn't expecting that. I was expecting it to be something more polished or something more sophisticated or like well put together. But this is it. Because I think this person at the end of the day is just scared. You know, they're like a scared little like wormy person, you know, and you're kind of, I think when you unmask that, you're just kind of like, ugh. But I was kind of, oh yeah, I was getting ready to say, I think this has been traumatizing because you've lost this battle with this person in at least 3 lifetimes. And again, it has to do with a group. So you've lost the battle with this group. I think there's a group. You've lost the battle with this group and therefore this karmic. In multiple lifetimes. But it's always been very traumatizing for you when you cross over because the whiplash between what this person pretends to be and the truth of who they actually are and the repercussions of your collusion with that energy, that I'm just hearing treacherous energy. And when you see the effects of that, because they were just baffling you, having you thinking that you were doing the right thing and that you were making all these right decisions, but all the while leading you up the garden path. The whiplash of that has been traumatizing for you, like every single time. So if you're not going to wake up to this, I think part of what they're doing, even just in me saying that to you, is just giving you a heads up. So when you die and you're like, oh my gosh, this person is absolutely horrible. And they had me turning against my actual soulmates and people who had my best interest at heart and stuff. That way you are not so surprised that you've like really hurt a bunch of good people thinking that you were doing the right thing because you bought into a bunch of hollow lies and delusions where actually in hindsight we're pretty transparent. Because that's the thing, is like the fact that this person lies, the only reason you buy into it is because this person is like devil energy and they hone in on your insecurities and they hone in on what they think it is that you want. And if this person can find a way to take it from you, if they see that you are strong and that you are on your path to getting it yourself, they'll find a way to take it for you and put it behind like glass. So they're the middleman and they make you think you have to go through them to get it. I just heard spirituality. You don't need anybody else. Like nobody should be putting your spirituality behind glass. You know, you should only be walking with somebody and people and groups, like in terms of a spiritualness that are actually you're united with and you're helping each other. But it shouldn't feel like, well, you have to be, I'm the only way, right? Like, this is the only path. Like, no, it shouldn't feel like that. So this person can do that with that. They just like to control, they like to put themselves as the middleman. And that should be like a clue. Like, why are you, I always have to go through you, like to get normal human things that are just like my birthright. And so this person has this eroding effect on your confidence and your self-esteem, where you feel like over time, you'll notice that you feel weakened by this person, you feel lost, you feel isolated, and you feel alone. And all that is telling you is you are so far off of your path. So far, because you didn't follow the light of God. You didn't follow your own intuition, your own agency. You didn't make up your own mind about certain things. You didn't double check. That's a big one. It's like, you can't just be taking, that's a big karmic lesson here. It's like, you cannot just be taking things at face value from a liar. You need to vet people. You know, like, I don't think you vetted this person because I think they had a way that they just kind of naturally plugged in. And this is built up karmically from these past lives, but this person's brilliant at like reading people, reading what your insecurities are, knowing what buttons to push, knowing what things to say in order to act like they're soothing, but then really taking. They're really like milking you for something here. But they have to keep you in a weakened state in order to do it. So you'll just find yourself feeling more, I'm hearing the song Paralyzed by NF. I'm paralyzed. Where's the real me? I'm lost and it kills me inside. I'm paralyzed. I'm scared to live, but I'm scared to die. Like, this energy turns people into beggars. So you need to get out of this, like just for your own well-being, but also like I can see here, look, these two people, remember at the beginning I said, let's hold hands. I'm scared of this. Like, let's hold hands. So it's like you have a soulmate here that you want to like reach for. And I feel like this person is trying to keep you away from that because that is the key to your liberation. That goes back to pound number 1. Remember I was saying that feminine is the key? And this could be your own feminine side. Like if this is you. And again, that feminine's state of being was that she was divorcing herself from her own power, her own Pluto, her own observation, her own strategy. That's also like divorcing yourself from your own agency. So that is the shared karmic tie of this entire group, is that everybody's just forfeiting their own agency to some kind of a charlatan con artist person, you know, that's I'm hearing glib and superficial charm. Because that's another thing. It's like everything about this is very shallow. So they're showing me breath work, like really intense breath work, like that induces like a mind state. So if somebody's got you doing that and like rocking back and forth, or again, DRUGS, no matter if they're spiritual DRURGS or any altered state of mind, if you're around this person and when you notice, like you could literally be in a bar. It doesn't even have to be something that's even pretending to be elevated. But that's how this person, they're showing me it's a love potion. That this person creates a love potion, but they don't create it in a jar. They could potentially be using mind-altering substances, whatever those happen to be. So you take that down, and then this person likes to induce heightened experiences, whether that's sexual experiences or fights, or but they create that trauma bond. Thank you so much, Vidya, for the super chat. That's when they create that trauma bond, and your defenses are down because you're so baffled and convoluted that you don't see it clearly for what it is. And I could just be describing like a metaphor here, that if there's not DRUGS involved, but I think if there's not that, then there's some kind of like breath work, or like there's sugar, or like there's something here that's inducing some kind of like altered state where you're not choosing. Somehow this person is brilliant at making you think you've made a choice. They make you think that you've chosen them. And this person's definitely not above lying. Just like they try to throw a hot potato. Like when they see two good people reaching for each other, whether it's a love situation or a friend situation, two people who are going to stand on each other, this person just likes to keep people weakened just so that they can use them for their own advances, because this person is deeply insecure. And that's the only way that they think that they're going to get their needs met. Instead of understanding that it's not for them, they need to let that go and then find what is for them. That's where true security lies. But you have to be secure enough to even do that. So it's insecurity that is the root that binds all of these people together. Yeah. Yeah, it's insecurity. And so you have to deal with your own insecurity. You have to take your own agency back. You have to build your own thoughts. Yeah, I'm hearing think your own thoughts. Don't let them do it for you. Don't believe what you believe just because it's how they raised you. And you'll notice that like if you follow this person's principles, that I think it destroys relationships. And there should be powerful relationships that you can point to that says, because I was under this person's tutelage and guidance, or because I believed what this person had to say and I didn't check it, I didn't make contact with the person that the lie was about directly in order to clear things up, then I allowed this karma to take root. I allowed it to balloon out, and I took decisions and actions based upon falsehoods, and that's on me. Yes, this person is a liar, but why did I believe them in the first place? Because I wanted to believe them. Why did I want to believe them? I was scared not to. Why was I scared not to? Either because of some position that they have or some kind of deep-seated insecurity within yourself. That's the truth of it. That's how you get out of this. But you've got to connect with your own strength, your own insecurity. Think your own thoughts. Don't let them do it for you. Don't let the fear destroy you. Okay, anything else? Okay, there could have been a sudden meeting in this. Uranus. That's what I'm saying. There's unexpected communication here. Yes, okay, I'm telling you. This person has unexpected messages and communication that are meant to baffle and confuse and bind and block relationships. This is kind of this person's MO. This person could have suddenly reached out to you via friends. They could have suddenly, they could have seen you talking to a friend here. Okay. They could have seen you talking to a friend. Maybe this was a friend that you were interested in as more than a friend. But they thought, oh no. They thought that you were going independent here in some way, and then it made them want to fight. But it's just selfishness. It's just because they didn't want you free. They didn't want you happy. They didn't want you connecting with people. Whether it's, again, a proper group like friends or people who would connect you to the sun energy, like your own selfhood, where you would see them clearly. And you would see that they ain't it. This person's not who you want to be in relationship with. So this person is, like I said, they're deeply insecure, but they're very strategic. This person is the only clear thinker in the room. That's what they like. They confuse everybody else, but they're dealing very much in the truth. They very much see the truth of your connections with other people and who's for you and who's genuine. So you need to see just as clearly. Why are you letting this person confuse you? Because it's there to be seen. This person's seeing them and just running laps around everybody. And nobody's like really calling this person out, or just leave. Like that's what I'm hearing. Just leave. Leave well alone. Okay. My My group can't get near me ever again. Good, because I think that's a major karmic cycle that you closed out. Because I said, like, I think you lost. And this could tie into pile number 1. So, like, this feminine energy could have died, like, literally 3 lifetimes in a row. And Spirit was like, that's really enough. So, that could be a way that you lost. Or, again, this masculine energy got tangled up in this 3 lifetimes in a row. That's how he lost. Yep, it's over. Good job. Okay, what else here, Spirit? This person is there. They absolutely do not have emotions. I think, like I said, this person's very brilliant at making you think they care, making you think. I even heard that they're like turned on or like attracted to you in that kind of way. They're not. Or even like they're emotional. They also are brilliant at making you think that they're a protector. They're not. This person is very calculated, very strategic, and they're putting major blockages up between the two of you. Somebody special here to you. And it could be a love interest. It could be, I just heard a daughter, or a son, like a child, something here. This person just like sits in the wings, or there's a part, like that's their actual energy. This person's targeting a divine feminine. I knew it. They're targeting Venus energy. So they're definitely targeting your love in order to keep you bound, because love is one of the most powerful things in the universe. Like if you have somebody by your side that actually cares about you and loves you and gets you online to your own heart energy, then you're uncontrollable. You can't be manipulated. You're going to see through this. So this can't happen by any means. It cannot happen. But also they're targeting your creativity and like just your connections and the ability to work things out and the ability to like having you do something. I think this person likes to get you to do something or say something or act in a way that is so out beneath you and so out of your character that if you want to try to make amends with certain people and you have to account for why you did what you did, it's like you can't even explain it. And like a healthy person would just look at you and be like, that's all well and good, but you need to get away from me, kind of a thing. Yeah. Yeah, this dealing with a narcissist, psychopathic step family. Yeah. So I think like, I want to ask like, how do you get out of this? But I think you get out of this again, by seeing through it, connecting with your own, personal power, your own, which is Pluto, right? Which is your own observational energy, your own strategy. You may need a strategy to get out of this. You know how some people have to plan like, because if somebody sees you leaving the house, they're going to cause a big kerfuffle. And so you have to like squirrel away money and like, in those kind of situations. Some of you might be in that kind of a situation here with this person. But I think this person, again, they weaponize a group. This is more like smear campaign. They're going to like destroy your reputation is what I'm hearing. They're going to have, this person is brilliant. What they try to do is they try to get other people to throw stones at you. This person likes to inject some kind of falsehood into a narrative. And it's designed to separate people. It's designed to get everybody fighting. Everybody that actually loves each other and wants to get along actually fighting in order to get everybody riled up so that everybody starts throwing stones at each other. Oh, there's this, I think it's a Mark Twain quote where he talks about the ants in a jar. So he says, if you put a bunch of red ants in a bottle and then you put a bunch of black ants in that same bottle, they won't fight each other. But if you shake the bottle, then they start fighting each other because they each think that it's like the other one that's causing it, when in reality, the enemy is the person shaking the bottle. But the ants can't see that enemy. They can't even like process it. So instead they fight each other. That's what this person does. They're like a puppet master. They're a king or queen of delusion. But you want to know, you can't take anything this person says on face value. So if somebody has done something and it's cost you a major relationship, they did it on purpose. They did it on purpose. They did it on purpose. It was aggressive. This person was trying to be aggressive here. It was planned, a planned attack towards this Venus energy, towards the divine feminine. This was planned. Look at this. This was so planned. This is scaring me. I actually am feeling a feminine energy that's coming through here. And this feminine energy could be, because I was picturing like a masculine head to like a hierarchy, but I think that this could be a feminine energy that has the backing of some kind of masculine energy that is like moneyed or has position or something. So it makes them feel, this makes this feminine energy feel untouchable. I just heard spoiled brat, spoiled rotten. I'm just hearing like, Daddy, I want a schnozberry. Like, Daddy, I want you to destroy this person's life. Like, there's something kind of like that. He hurt me. He hurt your widow princess. You know, this person hurt your widow princess. And then this dad is just like, smash him like a bug. Like, again, nobody questions this feminine energy. It's a feminine that's attached here. It's almost like a daughter to like whoever this masculine energy is. It's kind of controlling things. They're spoiled. They want what they want. And it's really selfish and it's short-sighted, and they almost just like to mess with people just to prove that they can mess with people. And yeah, they like to, but it's one step removed with this feminine energy. That's what it's feminine weaponry. It's toxic femininity. So it's one step removed. I'm going to inject some kind of, I'm going to throw an insult, okay? But it's going to be cloaked in something. So it's not going to seem like that's what I'm doing necessarily. So I just injected that idea into the space, even though it's totally false. Now that's it's playing on everyone's insecurity. Now everybody's kind of thinking like, well, is that true? I don't know. I didn't think that was true. I mean, that's not what I was thinking, but now I'm kind of thinking it, you know? And then that's when everybody's now kind of like on edge. This is a destroyer of peace. This is just a destroyer of peace. It definitely is. This is the feminine, the karmic feminine that got the divine feminine in pile 1 deleted from the planet. It totally is. It totally is. By spreading those lies and those fears and those falsehoods. And I think they especially love it if they can, like if two people are in love and it's like, destroy her. And the masculine is like, will do. Like, and just does it because it's like, there's been some kind of lie where he feels slighted or he feels like the divine feminine is not who she claims to be, right? Like, all of it. It's really nasty. It's really gnarly. So I just want to see like, yikes. Yikes. Like this is all about power. It's all about power. So like, I think the divine feminine's walking away from this and standing in her power. Hold on. So I just want to see, where is everybody on this? Oh my gosh. So what she's trying to do is make this masculine energy feel like he needs to protect her from this divine feminine who's like not harmful to anyone. Like she's not harmful to anyone. She's just like beautiful. And it's like, she is doing something wrong. Go get her. And he's like, wait a second. Like, what are you doing? So, but it's a lie. And it's something like, she said something mean to me, but she wouldn't. She never did. Or she just told this karmic feminine where to go, you know, because the karmic feminine was probably picking on her, but in a covert way. So this person rewrites history. They rewrite history to act like a victim. That's what I'm getting, to act like a victim when they were no such thing. They're actually the persecutor. So this is victim, rescuer, persecutor. This is pissing me off actually because it's so treacherous. It's so low down and it works. That's the other thing. It works. But I also feel like potentially you have a man, like you have an actual man who is a man, like a full-grown man, attacking a woman? Attacking a woman? No, sir. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What is actually wrong with you? Okay, so spirit, so you need to get away from this. In order to heal. This is also going down a different path. Like just refuse to play. I think somebody here is targeting this divine feminine and they just don't want her to be happy. And they want her to seem like she's like down and out or that she's a failure or that she's struggling. If she stays around whatever this group is, they're going to just paint her in a bad light. This person is because they just want to be proven right. So this person's sabotaging this feminine energy in underhanded ways. Just trying to ruin her chances, I'm hearing, and like ruin her success. And so what also happens is like if this divine feminine does make a mistake, but they're showing me this divine feminine will just be in process, right? So she's just not done completing her process yet. The caterpillar has not yet become the cocoon. So if you don't see a whole process and you just, pick out the caterpillar while it's goo and then point at it and laugh and say, this divine feminine is goo. And everybody's like, see, I told you she wasn't divine feminine. And then everybody's like, oh yeah, I guess she must have been lying about that. Like I knew she wasn't shit. And because everybody's so jealous and hateful and spiteful, that's what she wants to do. But you as the divine feminine in this, I think you are, regardless of your gender, you just have to know that you have to be process oriented. You have to know what it is that you're doing. And you have to be in your cocoon. You have to be able to protect yourself. And part of that is getting away from this in order to heal. Yeah, it's definitely telling you to leave. Get up out of that and let go. and let go and surrender this to spirit and watch your ships come in. And now I'm hearing that statement again of you prepared a feast for me in front of my enemies, and it's untouchable. And these people are going to be trying. I'm hearing another NF song. It's like, these people are going to tell you you won't ever make it. Then when you do, they going to say they knew you were going places. That's just how it works. Next thing you know, you'll be overrated. Now people saying they miss the old you. It's crazy, ain't it? But perfect people don't exist, so don't pretend to be one. Don't fall into this trap and feel like you have to prove yourself by being like perfect and never making any mistakes. It's going to make you like very neurotic. I do think that's one of the most powerful ways that you can protect yourself is just by like putting on a strong front and like not really giving much away, but only do that as like until you can get out of the situation. You should be focusing on like getting out of the situation, getting around people where you don't have to do this, because you know, if they say one bad apple spoils the whole bunch, this rotten feminine energy has spoiled the whole bunch. And also this person, this masculine, let him get his bad karma. This was meant to be your protector. This is your protector. He has been co-opted into being your aggressor, your attacker. There is a huge karmic repercussion for him breaking his soul contract for doing that. You don't have to do anything. You just need to let him get his bad karma. Because he just partnered, he piled on. That's what I'm hearing. He piled on. Yeah, like you might get a message here and it's going to make you feel some type of way. Okay, so I think it's from this masculine energy and they want to make amends and they want to make some kind of amends here. But it'll be after they've broken free from this and that they've gotten stable. Yeah, because they love you. And then they're going to realize that they love you and that they're a dick. I don't know. I don't know if you want to be around this person anymore, because honestly, I'm hearing the damage is done, so I guess I'll be leaving. But you also have to know that like this nasty ass feminine, that's what she likes. She likes to ruin relationships like irrevocably, where two people have a genuine, simple, natural love for each other. So you might not want to let her win on that. I don't really know. This is just like kind of pissing me off. Spirit is going to be talking to you and giving you more knowledge about this. But Spirit's also moving you away from this. And part of how Spirit is moving you away from this is by giving you more knowledge. And also, I'm hearing this has been a hard lesson about the realities of the world and like how the world works. But you're not going to have to go through it again because you got it. You learned it. Yeah, it's giving you a headache. And Spirit is just, you needed to learn this. You needed to know that like not everybody is love and light. Like not everybody can be trusted. And so Spirit wants to give you something here. Yeah, and it's really going to grow into something beautiful. And you are going to have people who are strong and who care about you around. But Spirit has to move you away from this first. And Spirit has to give you certain knowledge so that when you plant that seed in the ground, it is actually going to like grow. And then now these people, they have to have regrets and anxiety about the way that they treated you. Yeah. And they have to then work. Now, these people, I just heard work. So these people, and there's more than one, they now have to work to try to get back into your energy, into your good graces, because now they realize that they have what you need, that they're your soulmate. They're like, I'm the one for you. Why don't you see it? And it's like, because you were a dick. I don't see it because you were a dick. Like they have to own up to that. That's their own karma. They made their bed. They have to lie in it. So, this masculine also may need to lie to certain people just to get them away and off his back. So he's got to clean all of that up. But now you've got people here, they have to I've gotten this message in the past where it's like now they have to qualify back into your energy, and you should let them do that. Do not cave when you don't feel comfortable, because it's nice when someone's like, I'm sorry, and they send you like a greeting card, you know, and like a bouquet of flowers. That feels nice, and it's like, oh well, maybe they've really changed. Don't hesitate to like, they have to prove it. This was heinous, and this went on for multiple lifetimes. It was really insidious, and it involved several people. So it's okay that a single greeting card and a bouquet of flowers doesn't fix this. It's okay that it's like, you know, he needs to crawl up a mountain backwards in order to get your attention again. It's okay. Let him qualify back into his energy. He obviously is not the man that you need him to be, or he wasn't in the past, and he needs to become that. It's more than just having a feeling of being sorry. It's making amends about the behavior that, or a weakness that you had that you allowed to get exploited. It's about letting other people come between you and somebody that you care very much for, allowing all of that to happen, just being a passenger, like sitting by while all of that, you know, occurs. That's serious. That's serious stuff. And it doesn't just get fixed overnight. And you need to see that as well. That this person, that's that part of that Pluto that you need to own. You need to observe that this person needs to undergo a transformation where they address their fear and insecurity in order to connect with their own power and in order to have that transformation that makes things right. This person sided with the wrong people. And therefore, either through their passivity or through their active aggression, either way, it's considered shots fired, I just heard, by the universe. It's considered colluding with the enemy, and it is considered an act of war, and it is considered an act of aggression. Not just towards you, but towards divinity itself. So they need to atone for that, meaning they need to undo whatever it was that made them susceptible to that. That's on them. That's their responsibility. And to let this person back into your energy and into your good graces before they've done that is just, it's not advised. You can understand that this person feels sorry, but it's more than just a sorry. This person has work to do. And it might take like 3 lifetimes or something. Yeah. Okay. And they also need to see whoever it was that they thought was like loving, they need to see that person for exactly who they are. And they need to be able to write a dissertation about why that person is a slime ball and not their friend or their partner or their lover, and why that person should have never been put in the same category as you, and why they understand that now. Like this person, it's like, write me a 40-page paper, okay? I want a thesis statement. I want topical paragraphs. I want like a conclusion. This person needs that level of understanding so that they don't fall prey to this again. This is unacceptable. I'm like really fired up about this group. Like it's absolutely grotesque that this was allowed to go on. Ugh. Okay. Spirit is so militant. Somebody just said that. Spirit is all things, right? And we've been talking about Pluto a lot, like in these readings, about like connecting and attaching with your Pluto. That's just one aspect of the divine though, right? The divine is Venus, the divine is the moon, the divine is the sun. So, but the divine is also Pluto. Pluto is a hard ass. Pluto can draw the hard lines. And I think I'm supposed to be mimicking this energy of like, I can have all the compassion for you in the world, that you have a human experience. Doesn't mean I'm your doormat. It doesn't mean that I'm, a pushover or anything like that. Sometimes, like, you have to know when to apply that, like, absolutely not. This is who you are. This is what you did. This is what you're going to do. Like, sometimes, like, you got, and this is gross to me. This is like really gross. And like the weakness and like the insidiousness of it and the way that it was like, I don't know, I just picture people who are just happy as clams colluding with this like demon monster. Ugh. And it's like, I'm picturing kind of like an Ursula energy, these like slimy tentacles. And it's like, I'm Princess Ariel. And it's like, ugh, you're really not. Ew, and I put my mouth on it. Like, it's like that. It's like that energy. And I don't want anywhere around it. And that's the energy where it's like, nope. Yeah. So they changed the trajectory of mine and other people's paths. Yeah. And like so another trick that this person might do is like when you call out this person, because it's this person's energy that we're tapping into, right? And it's gross. It is really gross. It is planned. It's insidious. It's entitled, right? That's gross. You calling it out in a matter of fact, plain as day, this is what you are energy. A lot of times they're going to flip it on you like, well, you're mean. That's a really cruel thing to say. It's a crueler thing to be. It's a crueler thing to let that go on around you unchecked. Also, Spirit is saying Jess is being more of a man than like the divine masculine was like in this connection. Because listen to me, it's like it's crueler to let that go on around you unchallenged. When a good man is around, it won't go on unchallenged. You might get fooled by it. This went on unchallenged. I think that's why it's I find it so distasteful. Is because like you didn't even like check a reference. I don't know. It's bothering me. Yeah, it's the gaslighting. It's the projection. It's you're wrong for calling me out. There was a celebrity, I can't remember. It was like, how come I got crucified for saying you did the bad thing? I got in more trouble for saying that you did the bad thing than you got in for doing the bad thing in the first place. Like, make it make sense. It's that energy. It's that victim, rescuer, persecutor of like, well, I'm a victim because you called me out. And it hurt my feelings that you called me out. And it's like, I called you out on doing criminal stuff. Like, did you think about when you were doing that it was hurtful to like that person or that person or that person? It's heroic that somebody calls you out, sir. When that lawyer gives up and gives the closing argument at your sentencing, that is heroic, ma'am. Like, it's like, let's get it like, Just because you're spiritual doesn't mean you can't be sharp as a tack. Okay. Like, let's just, get rid of that. So, the status quo requires this to dysfunction. They don't think about how many people they hurt. Yeah. But it's like they try to make it seem like, well, you're so cruel because you're doing this to me. But the difference is you're doing it to them. It's an individual thing. Because you see them clearly. You don't do that as a practice to everybody. You're probably very sweet to everybody if they can handle that, if they can handle being treated nicely. But you need to be spoken to in this person is actually inverted. They treat everybody like objects to be like manipulated. They like kind of run their game. But then as soon as somebody turns the light on them, they go, how rude, how dare you, Yeah. So anyways, like that's enough of that. Like that energy, just that kind of stuff. Like that I just find inexcusable, and it really gets me going. It just really gets me going. And they're praised for it. All right, messages from spirit. Ew, I just really want to get that off of me from pile number 3. All right. Spirit. I like the drama. Ugh. The last thing I'll say about pile number 3 is I think they like to get you in a position where it's like, they like to make you have to perform your goodness. Like, have you ever heard that phrase that's like, be a good person, but don't waste your time proving it? They want you to have to perform it because it gets you on the back foot. And that means that it allows people, this is kind of going back to pile number 1, it encourages people to then put your energy under a microscope. But that's inherently violence, especially to a feminine energy, because the masculine energy, the left side of the brain, likes to reduce, and it likes to look at the details, like squint in on things. But feminine energy doesn't like that. It's considered like a violence to do that. It's the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So it's like maybe every little thing isn't like the most perfect that it could be, but man, like when it all comes together, like this person is whole and they're beautiful and like whatever. That's the like feminine side of things. So to do that with a feminine energy or with something that is inherently feminine, like a creative project or something like that, it's like you kind of miss the point of why it exists. But that's part of like that person's baffle game. So they like to put you in a position where you either have to perform your goodness, which always kind of comes off faux or it comes off fake, or you stand up for yourself and you remain like firm in the truth and you still say like, no, I'm sticking to it. You're a bad person, or like you hold whatever boundary it is. And then because you did a hard thing, because you held the hard line, then people kind of make a judgment. Like I'm hearing that word militant, like, oh, you're really militant, or like, you're really mean. You're really Pluto. See, that's why the divine feminine doesn't want to be seen as the Pluto, because sometimes it's appropriate to be all those things. So we can't just throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like there's certain things that it's okay to be and there's certain things that it's not okay to be. Those things exist, but they're few and far between. Most things, you just have to figure out like the context. When is it appropriate to be in this energy? And to what degree and into what amount. So that's part of how this person likes to baffle and confuse you. That's how they try to knock you off of your seat of power. They try to topple you, or they try to throw your character into question. But it's also how they try to confuse other people about you, about who's right, about who's truly good. That's why people who think everyone should be nice, or they think feminine energy should be nice, I can't stand that either, because you're just leaving yourself wide open to be preyed upon. So any person who just smiles and says like sweet things, but they don't challenge the isms in our world that like are bad. They just want to keep the status quo. Like you're colluding with darkness. You have to have teeth sometimes. So it allows people to just very easily be pulled astray. Or when you see a person standing in their power and actually saying, no, this isn't okay, and I'm not going to sit by while it's just being done, then it's like, oh, well, are they a bad person because they're being strong? Especially when you're dealing with a feminine energy, because feminine energies are taught to be polite, but nice is a garnish. Anyways, we're going to leave that there. But so don't fall into the game. It's like some people need to learn their lessons on their own. If somebody is going to expect you to be shallow but nice instead of deep and real and genuinely good, well, maybe it's best to not have that person around you, because also that's how the bugs get in, because they're attached to people who can manipulate them, because that person's probably easy to manipulate. So it opens you up to more threats, like just kind of take the win is what I heard. Just take the win. Okay. Have teeth sometimes. Yeah, exactly. Because the world, especially as a female, they'll tell you not to have teeth, but then you'll find you get pushed around and taken advantage of, taken for a ride. Okay, so all right, new energy, please, Spirit. What is like a message you want to draw everybody's attention to? Okay. I just heard the journey home. This is the journey home. And I'm hearing that song by MC Yogi, The Road Home. God bless every soul. God bless every soul. God bless every soul traveling the road home. All right, so we got the storm warning card. Interesting. Upheaval, obstacle, wrecking ball, or drama. It's interesting to me that this is like on the beach and they've got an umbrella. Okay, I'm hearing another NF lyric. It's like, I've got an umbrella for difficult moments, but it doesn't always open. So, okay, there might be something here that kind of comes in. It's like a storm warning, and you don't necessarily have a skill set to be able to deal with it. The Spirit's just giving you a heads up. But remember I said it's a pathway, like it's opening you up to a more spiritual kind of way of being. And this could involve like the loss of a loved one, because maybe you did get taken in by a charlatan here and you did ostracize somebody that you love greatly, and it's not an option to return to that person. And that could be the storm here that I'm talking about. But or just aligning with those kinds of energies, it's going to bring more drama and chaos and pain than going down a different path in life. So either way, Spirit is saying like, look, storm warning, heads up, there could be some potential like upheaval or obstacle coming into wrecking ball into your life, and it's going to feel like it's a lot of drama. But this is so that you can learn how to use a different umbrella. Ella. Okay, and I think that Spirit saying that to you, when the sun shines, we'll shine together. I told you I'll be here forever. Yeah, so Spirit is just saying like, and I'm hearing that quote from Jesus that was like, when you thought you were alone and you look back and saw only one set of footprints, it was then that I carried you. So if you feel like you're going through a dark night of the soul, or like your whole life is going through an upheaval, it's a healing crisis is what I'm hearing. Whatever this was put into your life, injected into your life. This is that healthy injection energy coming in to counter that, potentially coming in to counter, look, the truth is at the bottom of the deck. Okay, so I feel like some of you guys want to reconcile with somebody here. There's a love interest, and I think this is kind of related to the pile number 3 energy. Remember I said that nasty feminine energy likes to inject a falsehood that causes a kerfuffle, right? So Spirit is exhibiting the healing venom, and Spirit is injecting some kind of message, some kind of truth here. And I feel like that's this feminine energy, revealing who this negative karmic feminine actually is. She's this dark kind of queen, and she's got the sword of truth, and she's holding it down, right? And she looks mean and angry. And also, you can't see her eyes are lowered. So I feel like this person doesn't like to be called out, this karmic feminine. But I think so this message could be coming in that where you realize this. I mean, this could have been this reading here and now. And this truth, also that truth could be some kind of a confession, or you could get some kind of clarity, reveal secrets. Some kind of secret could be revealed here. And that's potentially what's going to cause a storm warning. This is a healing crisis, okay? So as humans, we can be very simple creatures, and we are very much, so like if something feels bad to us, if we don't have the lens of wisdom, we can say it feels bad, therefore it is bad. It challenges my ego and my preferences, therefore it is bad, and I should avoid it. I should go down some kind of like avoidant pathway. You shouldn't. All of this is happening. All of this is unhappening. All of this is unfolding for you. It's working for you. I'm hearing for the first time. So I think this nasty over here, what they do is they like to make things seem easy. They like to grease the wheels. So they've created an addiction in you to ease, to the path of least resistance. And I'm hearing that's also why you didn't develop certain things, because you have to like try to develop certain things to build up a strength. So you just have this addiction to things being easy, and you've actually been trained up. I think this was intentional, to think that when the pathway is cleared, that means it's right, or that that's what you should do. So instead of deciding what it is that you want, and even if it's hard or there's obstacles, that's the path of the builder, right? So I've just heard Bob the Builder, like they're getting you onto that path of the builder. And that's the umbrella. It's like they're trying to train you up They're trying to remove your addiction to what is easy or, not challenging or, not applying yourself, to like, should I be doing this? Because just because you can do this doesn't mean you should do it, right? Asking those kinds of questions. So it's going to look like there's obstacles here. And just because there's obstacles in the path or it's hard doesn't mean that it's not your path. Obstacles are not the same thing as a blockage, okay? A blockage is a blockage. Obstacles are not the same thing as a blockage. And a lot of times when we meet those obstacles, because we know what it is that we want in our hearts, not that we've been trained to want by our culture, some kind of gross person we have around us, or like whatever is easiest. When we know I want that and I'm going to go after it and there's obstacles, what that's doing is it's changing you. There's an alchemy that's happening. Have you ever done the project where there's like a tall rectangle and it's filled with different kinds of rocks? So at the bottom it's sand, and then the size of the rock gets bigger and bigger, like from that. And then you watch somebody pour like a cup of really dirty water into it, and it like purifies it. It gets all the dirt and the sediment. And when the water comes out at the bottom, it's like totally clear. And there was not like a single modern made filter in it. And it's like blows your mind. That's what the obstacle is doing to you and your energy. It's purging out all of these like impurities, like the oil and the dirt and everything that got put over. It's clearing things out. That is your path forward. The obstacle is the way. The storm is the journey. And I'm seeing like the hero's journey, but I'm seeing that hero card from Caroline Myss, where it's like the two people on the sides of the mountain and they're kind of reaching for each other. You can only, if you want a reconciliation, which I think you do, and Spirit's trying to give that to you. I'm hearing you prayed for a reconciliation. The answer to your prayer is coming. Make sure you recognize it when it's coming. It's not going to come like via some kind of like, oh, magically you're at the Starbucks with this person. Because why? Because you've been in something really negative. It's changed you, and not for the better. And you're no longer in vibrational alignment. So what it is like you're just going to see each other, maybe offend this person. There's something here Spirit's protecting you from, like saying the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing, coming across the wrong way. They're saving you from that because you want a reconciliation, because you're working with the good guys now. The devil energy would have given you your reconciliation that you prayed for, but it would have sabotaged it at the same time because you wouldn't have been ready, or they would have, something would have gone wrong. This is the divine energy. So you have to start recognizing the difference. The divine's actually going to give it to you for keeps, but you have to show up. You have to do your part of it. So Spirit's saying, I'm answering your prayer, but you got to know what the answer to the prayer looks like. It looks like a storm warning. It looks like some kind of incoming message. It looks like some kind of truth being revealed about like some kind of negative person. You may have to sever yourself fully and completely from somebody here. I just heard the word divorce, spiritual divorce, fully and completely. I'm hearing this partner, that you want reconciliation, and it could be a romantic partner, a child, a family member, whoever this is. In the ether, this person they're like, I don't want to be around this person unless they do this, this, and this, and I think it's probably pretty extreme. Unless this nasty person that caused all the problems is nowhere in their energy ever again. They are going to wrap that up fully and completely. I'm not involved. Like if I have some kind of like reckoning, like they need to take care of it on their own. They need to stand up for me on their own. They need to skewer this person with their own truth on their own. I won't be a part of it. That needs to be wrapped up and done with. If the two of them come into my energy in a subsequent incarnation together, I'll just go the other way. I won't say a word to them. Like that, there's a huge, because of, remember, like I said, there was 3 losses in lifetimes and it ended in someone's death. Somebody here has every right to stand on, like every ground to stand on, setting huge tasks like in front of you. So it's like, if you want this person, the journey is worth it. It's like your highest and best path. But you have to kind of like overcome certain things. And that's like everything's going to happen in divine timing. But you have to know that the divine timing is not arbitrary and it's linked up with your own transformational journey. And Spirit just saying that because if you want this, they're very much encouraging you, because I think this is a divine partnership. I think this is a divine reconciliation. This is a divine pairing. This is a pairing that God chose this person for you in some way. Whoever this person is in your life, God put the two of you together because God recognized the love and the connection energy between the two of you. I heard I was heartbroken when you heartbroke each other. God himself was heartbroken when you heartbroke each other. And that's why you've been getting these intuitive messages, is because God wants to see this. Look, and God is like, I put this magnetic attraction here in your path. I put these romantic feelings, right? I don't know why you were in this toxic relationship, or like, there was some kind of message that came in and like, now there's a toxic relationship here and it could have ended in a wedding. Yikes. Look, and then ghosted. like came out, but like on its head. So, because you took a chance, some kind of a chance here. So you got let off a path here. You got led up the garden path. So there's a lot that needs to now be undone. And it's not just in the physical. It's in your energy. It's in who you've become, because who you choose to be around, whether it's a partner or whether it's a group of people, the kind of rhetoric you're around, the ideas, the concepts, all of that changes you fundamentally from the inside out. And it's taken you further away from your divine path, from your God. I'm hearing from your God, from your spiritual path, from your divine calling, and from your divine partner, like your soul partner, but also your soul mate partners, like the friend groups that you should be around. So if you're feeling really like bleak, it's because you're way off your path, like in every way imaginable. And people had to lie to you a lot to like breadcrumb you so far off your path. They just had to like kind of keep doing it. So there's a long way to go to get back. And they're just saying like, look, we're going to like kind of induce a storm warning here. And it's going to create some kind of upheaval. But approach that obstacle with joy in your heart and with gratitude, because like, even if it's difficult, even if it's hard, because something might get revealed here, it's going to cause you a heartbreak. It's going to cause you a heartbreak. Ghosted. Yeah. Yeah, there could have been, okay, something like ghosted, regret, and truth, like came out. And then there's some kind of like addiction here and a text message energy. Addiction. Okay, addiction, breakup. So there could have been an addiction here. This is like a party scene. This is somebody you merged with when you were under some kind of like influence. And you were addicted to a makeup breakup kind of a cycle here. Caused you anxiety. You'd watch, yeah, this is like, yikes. And they could have like sent you a text message here to kind of like, I don't know, something about that is the addiction. And that's what caused you to get ghosted or to ghost someone else. Yeah, the party's over. It's time for change. And you need to face this heartbreak. Some of you, it's like there's a heartbreak that you were running from or you were trying to numb out. Instead of, again, like dealing with it directly. What is this message coming about, Spirit? I'm just seeing if I can't like pop the hood a little bit. Proposal and a player. Charming, manipulative, karmic. So either you accepted a proposal from a player or you proposed to a player. One of the two. I just heard you got played. Third party proposal. Third party proposal. Ghosted and breakup. Unexpected. Yeah. So that could be an unexpected message. And it's a mystery about it. And it just reveals that you were dealing with a snake. Deception, shady, temptation, and enemy. So that you can fully feel your feelings, and that starts with the energy of regret and anxiety. Music can really help you here during this time. Some of you have a talent with music. It's also going to connect you with your romantic feelings to something is better. And you need to surrender to the process. This was very specific. So either this is you or this is like, if you don't relate to this, if you were the person that was maligned in a situation or you were ghosted in a situation, then I think this person actually knows what they've done, or it's something very soon is going to come into their path where they're going to know what they've done, and they're going to maybe look you up or like see that you've moved on, or something here is like inducing that healing crisis, but they want you and they want to, I think that message was then for them, if that makes sense, that they realized that they got played or they got taken in their own way. Like it doesn't have to be in as detail as we all kind of know these things, like the detail that went into like pile number 3, for instance. Okay. Grief and friendship. I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. I understand that a friend is in my life for a reason. So I feel like this is one situation. You have to have grief. You have to fully grieve that. I understand that losing something is an opportunity to process. That's what I'm getting. It's like to end, to let go. And then, there's something else coming in, but it's it's gratitude. Be grateful for it. It's like leading to a lot of, interesting. I want more information on this. This is so crazy. Groom, new home, new attitude. Yeah, so this message may have to do with like you getting a new home or moving or needing to move. I just heard out with the old and in with the new. There's a lot of like just cobwebs, and it has to do with your home. It has to do with your family. Something needs cleared out. Look, older woman. Dealings or relationship with an older woman. Cain. There's an older woman that may have a health issue. Pay attention to your health. If you are an older woman, maybe pay attention to your health. That could be one of the ways that these messages are coming through. And with this dragon, beware of self-delusion. So for some of you, I feel like this is like an older woman. And older is a relative term. So it could be older than you. It could be older than the other person that's involved. It could just be older in general. I don't know. But for some of you, it's like this older woman is like a dragon, but they could be acting like they're frail or something like that because maybe they don't want you to move on, or it's just to control things like going on here in a home or something. But you have to beware of self-delusion here around you. And that's also the karmic lesson that dealing with this woman, whether it's a mother, whether it's a what it's teaching you is to beware of self-delusion, because this person's a dragon. Like they're trying to act like they're feeble or something like that, but they're a dragon. It's strategic. It's a vengeance. It's an anger. And they kind of feel like you're moving away from them, like you're moving on. Yeah, because they see that you're changing and you're transforming. Like here with this caterpillar energy, things will not always be this way. A change is coming. And then like this yoke energy. So this to me looks like yoke means like a pairing. To like yoke is to like partner two things together. But this is not an organic yoke. It's like this person was trying to do something to get you bound to them in some way. And they do that by keeping you feeling tied down or frustrated, which is why you need to get your energy away from this person that does that very much intentionally. This person could potentially try to involve with a dark man here, dealings or relationship with a man with dark complexion or hair. At a party, success is assured with good plans and hard work. They could make this seem like it's a work deal or that there's a new idea or something here. Maybe it will have to do with money, or they'll say something like, this man has like plenty of material things, but they're just doing it to try to get you feeling tied down or frustrated. Take care, enemies are working against you. It could be that this woman and this man that I just picked up here are working against you. In some way, and they're trying to spear you. They're trying to spear your heartache over what you no longer have. So it could be that somebody's trying to bait you into feeling jealous here. But I'm telling you, like this, again, this is one of those harsh realities that we just have to call out. I'm not trying to be a dick by saying this, but it's like losing somebody like this in your life is an overall gain. It's an overall win. This person just plays head games with you. Money or property through inheritance or windfall. Maybe that's what this person wants. They want to gain. Like this person, I'm not getting a good vibe off of this. They want money or inheritance, but you might also have this kind of coming in. You might have really good luck whenever you get outside of this person's like control or remit. Diamond, you'll be receiving a precious gift. I think if you break the ties that bind with this, you have some kind of gift or like boon coming into your life. Maybe avoid pleasure with a close friend. Ram, because that person is a stubborn or aggressive person. Situation in the balance that requires careful handling. So you're in a situation because it feels to me like you're in some kind of enemy camp, some kind of enemy territory. You've gotten yourself like really embedded there. It feels like nobody's your friend. And that's because maybe like nobody's your friend, because they're smiling in your face, kind of thing. But it's like you're around kind of nasty people. You're kind of in the den, the lion's den, the hornet's nest at this current like period of your life. Okay. So there's a situation here in the balance that requires careful handling. But if you keep your wits about you, if you align with spirit, if you're trying to keep your energy, like you're staying in alignment with your own values, I think it's going to bring you an incredible amount of luck. And things are not what they seem is what I'm hearing. So like these people, if they're trying to say like, well, I'm going to take everything from you, or they're trying to make you fear the loss of them, like you need to keep your head on straight. You need to know that losing this is an overall net gain. They've been causing you problems lifetime after lifetime, and that you have some kind of like windfall energy coming in. Hammock, take a vacation physically or mentally. So if you can get away from these people, I think your energy is going to feel lighter. You're just going to be like, like it's going to feel like being on a vacation. And then, then you're going to go out and have some fun, and a path with money is waiting for you to find it. So this is one of those third door opportunities. Like, you can't plan for it. It's just when you're tending to your own energy and you're aligning with your purpose and you're living your life authentically, you're not under the thumb of anyone else. You're not being manipulated and controlled. You're not allowing yourself to be moved by fear or threats or those lower energies. Then life just aligns with you, dude. And I feel like you're going to see that. You will receive a gift. They keep saying that you're going to receive a gift from an angel. Look, and it says spiritual guidance, protection from harm. And see how she's leading with a candle? She's lighting the way. So it's like, just connect with this more and more. I just heard you won't be sorry. And then we have this lightning energy. Control your anger or you will be sorry. This person here could try to bait you into some kind of angry display in order to get people in front of other people, because they want people to hear you go off on them. I'm hearing that's not the first time they've done this, either to you or to somebody else. This person kind of wants you to yell at them or to go off on them in a like exploding kind of a fashion, but don't do it, okay? And they might be trying to do that by like flaunting a relationship with somebody like of the same sex, or saying that you have one when you don't, or making it seem weird. Yeah, so this is wild. And beware of greed. Do not let yourself be motivated by greed. Allow yourself to be motivated by freedom. Basket, recognition, reward, or merit. Yeah, Spirit is saying like, look, you have, I feel like, okay, like I just heard basket of deplorables. I feel like you are around a basket of deplorables, but like I think that you have good karma. Like, that's what I'm getting. It's like, you have really good karma. You've been thinking you don't. You've been thinking that you've been getting punished, when in reality, it's like Spirit can't give you your good karma around all of these heathens that are trying to like take something from you and feed, because it's not actually going to be yours. So I think you're going to actually understand that you have really good karma, because everything's been going wrong because you're aligned with these like people, and all these people have very bad karma. So if they're associated with you, especially through like marriage or business partnership, well then those energies can't come through, because those people are not to experience that, because that's going to really cause them to spiral out of control. It's like they're going to think that that's the way to do things, right? So it's not, the conditions are not right for you, your good karmas to come due, so long as like you're around these people. You have to kind of get through this first, and then it'll feel more like the wind is at your back, and you're going to feel the goodness of your karma, because I think that you're a good person, and like that's how you live your life. It's just you've kind of been co-opted or commandeered or led up the garden path here by like these kind of treacherous people that you trusted, and you believed the slick talk and the guile and the lies, because the insecurity inside of you wanted to believe that it was the answer, and that all you had to do was just sacrifice yourself and your own, like I'm hearing, dignity and pride and values and sense of morality and right and wrong, your own feelings, your own heart, your own intuitive guidance, your own connection with God, your own destiny, your own individuality. You were just convinced somehow that would be the answer. If you just sacrificed yourself, that you were doing that for some kind of higher purpose. But really it was just, you were sacrificing yourself on the altar of greedy people, to be allowed as like almost a ritual. I'm just seeing like just to be used. You weren't giving yourself to a higher power. Somebody was just tricking you so that they could use you the way that they wanted to. But all of this is like coming forth. Yeah. And you have great good fortune that's coming through via family sorrow. Yeah. Cracked cup. Dissatisfaction with life leads to happiness. So it's like you have to go through a period of dissatisfaction in order to lead to happiness. That was such a specific message. And I don't know if that's you or if that's somebody here that you're dealing with that got led up the garden path and away from you, and maybe did you dirty in the process, or just fed you to the wolves, like, or let you just go unguarded and unprotected through life. When they didn't want to. This person would have had a strong urge to protect you. It's their literal actual mission. I think it's like actually written in this person's karmic contract that they are supposed to make sure that you walk safely upon the earth, like at least through a portion or a phase in your life, if not for the whole thing. Like if this is a partnership, then it's for the whole damn thing. It doesn't matter if it's masculine or feminine, because females are very protective too, the good ones. So this person has something, whether it's the sight or the something they needed to be there to protect you, to assist you. I mean, need is a strong word, but I think that you didn't have to take as many hits as you did. Wow. When you all see what you've been up against, you'll realize how powerful and coveted you all have been. Wow, that was like really powerful. That just like really caught my eye. Okay, so let me just see. Anything else? Anything? Oh my gosh, tower moment. I feel like there's something coming. Because something here has to, like, I just keep getting this, like, storm warning and then a tower moment. I mean, I just feel like there's something coming. It's a news or a message. But it's leading you wherever it is. I just keep getting that as a repeat message. Because you can't win where you're at now. Like with whatever it is that you built. It's just impossible to do so. So, yeah. Anything else just about this tower moment? I'm sorry. I just, whenever that kind of energy comes up, I'm like, well, if I can get you any information about it, then I want to get that information to you. I feel like I feel like I'm talking to like a protector. You're supposed to do what you should have done in the first place. You're going to give somebody their just desserts. You're going to call them on their bullshit. You're going to tell them exactly what they are. Some of you, it's like, you're going to, I don't know. It's like, you're going to, somebody who was potentially trying to come at this divine feminine, but this is a habit that they have. Okay. But I'm just saying that's the way that we're identifying this person. They need somebody with the sword of truth. Like I'm seeing this person going around picking on people. You know, it's like they're just kind of somebody. I'm watching you like hold the truth up, like actually meeting their sword for the first time in 3 lifetimes. You're not on side. You're not falling for their bullshit, and you're fighting back, which is what you were supposed to do from the beginning. Is fight back, push back, like not in an aggressive way, just in a matter of fact kind of way. I just watched somebody throat punch somebody. Yeah, the throat. Shut up. You are way too confident spewing bullshit. And it is a mark on the stain of humanity that you have been allowed to do this unchecked. And frankly, I'm disgusted with myself that you've been allowed to do this unchecked. Yeah, you're way too comfortable with your bullshit. Way too comfortable. So I just feel like, yeah, and it has to do with potentially for some of you, this is like getting the money that you deserve, like getting paid fairly or correctly. So it's all about, Spirit is saying, okay, so with the Sagittarius energy, Spirit is saying whenever a tower moment happens, people focus on the tower moment. And they're like, why did this happen? The reason it happened is because what comes after the tower moment. Scorpio into Sagittarius. Tempering yourself out afterwards. The healing that comes afterwards. The elevated perspective that comes afterwards. That's why. Right? And because truth can, like if it can be killed by the truth, it should be, because the truth energy is God energy. So if you want to be spiritual and you want to align with God, well then your what comes around you must be a haven for truth. And that's what you're learning. And look at this. I told you I saw 2 blades crossing. And it's like, no. Like you're being a match for something here. And you're standing up for yourself. And I'm just hearing like you're standing up for goodness and truth and innocence. And you're making sure that goodness and truth and innocence can walk freely here. Any strength you have, that's where it should be pointed towards. Making sure that people are safe to be good and innocent and decent, and they should be safe to do that. They shouldn't be attacked. It's not appropriate. So I'm just seeing you get your blade up there. Yeah, look at this. This is like to protect somebody here. That's like, and this is all divinely guided too. And this is protected. And I feel like your relationship with somebody here is divinely guided. It's divinely protected. It's literally divinely protected. Yeah, there's definitely something here in the past that caused you to lose your way. The Spirit's just kind of repeating this message. So this is how you solve it. So this is the healing journey. This is the healing crisis. It's the journey home. God bless every soul traveling the road home. You have everything that you need to get the love that you want, right? And for your ships to come in. Yeah, healing. And somebody here potentially, like there's a distance. Okay, so also the distance between you is also a way that this relationship is being protected, because I think when you come back, it's like if you show up empty-handed and it's like, oh, I didn't clean up any of that. Oh yeah, it's still going. I still might go back. Like, you can't be in that energy. This person's just not going to accept it. Like the distance between you somehow is serving some kind of a function, and it's serving a healing function, and it's serving a guiding function. There's some kind of higher purpose in that. And it's assisting in the healing, and it's assisting in some kind of elevated perspective. Like it's a variable. They're showing me 2 magnets where it's like I don't know, there's like a pull or something, but there's like an energy that's being generated here, like between that, and potentially that energy is driving you on a healing journey or pointing, honing in like your focus or something like that. Yeah, so you got to get out of this functional dysfunction energy. And part of that is telling yourself that you're not good enough. Potentially focus on the behavior, not the person. That's like basics. Like when you're working with kids or when you're working with people, you focus on the behavior and not the person. That's also why I feel so brazen. And just whenever I see a behavior that is incorrect, oh no, I'll go in on that all day. That behavior is wrong. It is vile. It is unacceptable. The behavior is wrong. Why? Because the behavior is not the person. The behavior is not the person. And if somebody wants to conflate the two, like the behavior is the person, then it probably goes to show that like that's kind of a trigger that they need to like kind of pull apart. If their identity is wrapped up in that, it's like you have to understand that you can change your behavior. You can change your behavior. You are not shitty. You are not less than. You are not like bad or like not worthy of anything. Maybe some behaviors that you did in the past were wrong, were incorrect, require a maturity, but you can do that. So just do that and then get yourself back up on the right track. Understand where you went wrong, understand that fully and completely, understand exactly what energies you colluded with, who they are, what masks they were wearing, understand why that mask is so appealing to you, understand why you fell for that. You need to understand these things so that you have the traction that you need to like move in the right direction, but then and in order to kind of like clear the air. But it's a behavior, it's not a yeah, and that's also going to help you feel like, I think there's a competitive mindset of like, I need to compete in order to be worthy. But it's like, that's going to help heal that competitive mindset. So anyways, I feel like I've been talking for an age. Yeah. Yeah, stop calling yourself stupid. You are not stupid. You just did an unintelligent thing. Yeah. I mean, and like for me, like I get scared of being stupid or I get scared of making a mistake. So I kind of like desensitize myself because I'm like, so what if I am stupid? Sometimes I'm stupid. I'm allowed to be stupid. Like, I'm not malintended. And I like to think I'm a person that when I know that I've been making a mistake, that I try to right my wrongs and I try to like learn how to do something different. And that's the best you can hope to be. It's having like reasonable expectations for yourself. But I try to just desensitize myself for like getting called on my bullshit because I just have lived a life where it's like, I kind of appreciate when somebody is able to do that, when somebody is able to kind of like shine that light. And I don't want to be too precious, like when it kind of comes to that, but divine right to be a little dumb. Britney Spears, that was like one of the things in her book. She was like, I wasn't manipulative. I was just stupid. And they took that from me. And I was like, amen. All right. This felt like a lot. I am a little bit pissed off from pile number 3. Like still, like, I don't know. It just gets me. I don't like it. I don't like to see people get like manipulated or bullied or ganged up on. As a matter of fact, I think if there was a reason that I like allowed myself to get sucked back in here, it's because I was like that shit, that needs to change. It just really gets me, man. Which is why I think I get some of the messages that I do. So, yeah. Unconscious decision. Can I just say this? Okay, Catherine, sometimes I sort of feel like you're low-key shading me. And I don't know why I feel that way. But I just want to make sure like we're on the same page. Like, because I don't always know what you're saying. And I don't know. I could just be like reading too much into this. But sometimes I feel like you're like picking on me in a subtle way. But then other times I'm like, I know that you're not. But I just wanted to like clear the air here, like between the two of us. And make sure that we're good. I don't even worry about mistakes anymore. Oh, I think when she says you, she's referring to me. Okay. Yeah, because sometimes like I read the you and I'm like, is she talking to me? Okay. Instead of typing out my whole name. Oh, okay. I see. Okay, because yeah, sometimes I thought that she was saying that I'm talking over your shoulders sometimes. What? Like, what do you mean? You all need to know that. I don't understand. Meaning they're more than just us here at times. Yeah. Miami doesn't either. Oh, you're adding commentary.
Yeah, I think Leah's got the right idea.
Oh,
I
okay.
think what she's doing is just kind of
Never
like
mind.
chiming in and adding more to what you're saying.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I do just want to say this too. Like, it's fine because, like, I always say this. Like, I think that we're all reading these cards together. I tend to take the perspective that, like, whatever comes through, like, whatever tarot reader that you're watching, I think that's like the collective energy of like what's going on for everybody else. And like, just know that when certain things come up in the chat, like, what I mean when I say like I think we read together is that, like, you might have like an intuitive hit and it's like that's true for you and it's true for your situation, like your guides are communicating for that. But be very careful of like if somebody's sharing like what came through for them, like if it's not coming through in the collective, like it might not apply to you and your situation. I'm just letting you know that I think this is like the collective message and it's like the shared energy. And like, yeah, like there might be other like smaller kind of pockets, but just be careful. Cause sometimes I have like seen things, not you, Catherine, specifically. I'm just saying like sometimes I have seen things and I'm like, ooh, that's, but yeah. Oh, venting. Yeah. She's speaking to energy. Yeah. Because I look to the proper sources. That's why it's over. Oh, okay. All right. So I just wanted to make sure that you weren't like mad at me or like thinking that I was doing something wrong. Okay. So that's what I have. Thank you guys so much for coming here and spending your Friday with me and looking into your past lives and sharing this spiritual experience and all of that good stuff. I hope that you guys have a really good rest of your week, and that's what I got. Okay. All right. You're welcome. Thanks for coming, you guys. And thank you so much for the super chats and just for the love and the support. Okay. You guys already know what time it is. I'm going to go get my Chipotle. Okay. You're welcome. I'm trying to be more upfront because Catherine just said thank you, Jess, for being upfront. I am trying to do that because I think I've learned for myself that it's like I also get like very quiet when I'm hurt, or I just kind of like bottle things inside, or I make excuses. I'm like, oh well, I think that they probably didn't mean that, or they didn't mean this. But I'm starting to learn that that doesn't always like help, and sometimes like even if it's like rocky or it feels uncomfortable to kind of work through, it can be better in the end to just like get it out in the open and just have a conversation, even if it's a hard conversation, because I might be misunderstanding things. And I don't know, just to give people like more of a chance here, you know, I don't know. I'm trying not to.
It's always better to know that everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
That like how we're all feeling, than it is to guess and wonder and
Yeah.
to be in a speculative space.
Yeah.
Because that speculation always just leads to assumptions that are rarely like accurate to what exactly somebody might actually be feeling. So
Right.
it's always better to be clear. It's always better to be upfront and to just call things what they are, even if
Yeah.
it is awkward and uncomfortable.
Well, and also that way when there's not a problem, you don't like spiral it into a problem in your mind, you know?
Exactly. Like, don't waste the mental energy on wondering and not knowing. Instead, just expend the verbal energy
Right.
to clarify, and then it's done.
And then it's done.
And
Yeah.
then it's over with.
Yeah.
We're all here. We're all on the same page. Everybody gets it, and that way you can move forward without wasted effort and time and all. Like, we don't have enough time and energy in this life
Yeah.
to waste on wondering and second guessing and
Yeah.
all this crap. You know, we already do so much of that, just kind of like with other situations in our lives.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
Well, and I think too, sometimes it comes from like not wanting to be vulnerable and saying like, I'm feeling a little bit insecure about this. And because there's always the possibility where somebody's going to be like, and you should be. You know?
Yeah,
because I meant exactly that.
So that's a good thing too, and you know that it's better for you to,
I know.
to hear that up
So-
front instead of, you know.
Well, I don't know, but it's still gonna hurt my feelings. But it's like I don't know. So like but I have just started to realize like, you know what? Like I would just rather know. Like if you think that I'm doing something wrong or if you don't like me, you know, I think I would just rather know. I just think I would rather have it be out in the open instead of me like you know, just being like they secretly hate me. Like
But if something is gonna hurt your feelings, wouldn't you rather have your feelings hurt up front as early as possible so that way you can get over it
Yeah.
that much more quickly? You know,
Yeah.
you can work through it.
Well, and also it's like, yeah, because it's like you don't have to, not everybody's gonna love you. You're not gonna vibe with everybody, and that's okay. It's a totally normal human thing. But like, let's just talk about it so that we can get where we're going. Yeah, rather than someone secretly hating you. Yes. Oh, thank you, Catherine. Okay. So, ending on that note, thank you guys for showing up. See, we're all growing. I say this time and time again, but I know that like me being in this position is me having to learn my lessons because for some reason I have to cry in front of a bunch of people, which I hate doing. But so Spirit is like, yeah, I know, but like for some reason it's good for me. Like for some reason it's good for me. But then also like just learning to kind of like just say it, like just be more confident and just like put it out there. Like I've been learning my stuff too. So happy Pluto in Aquarius, guys. Aw. Oh. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go get my Chipotle. I hope that you guys have a good rest of your day. Bye, guys.